Greetings, gamers, and welcome. Oh shit! Hi to the 186th live stream of the Misfit Gamer Studios. I am your host Vortex, and this is D&D discussions. On today's episode, we have a very, very exciting, long-awaited, at least for the last 4 weeks because we keep putting it off, pop culture build for you, with the legendary Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. And we're a little bit late because we were just going over our notes, but we have them all ready for you, and we are so excited to get this built. So join us today as we figure out what Johnny 5 would look like in D&D. Ooh, all right. I'm really excited for this one.
Yes, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool. So I got to review a little bit of this, fortunately, before coming online and doing this review. So I've got a little bit more accurate idea of what I'm looking at. And again, a little bit of the talking we did before we got started here gives me a little bit of an idea of like how you see what we're looking at here. So
yeah, I think we're both now way more in sync, and I think that was better to do off screen, just because I feel like we probably would have done a lot more debating.
Sure.
So I'm glad we kind of got through at least the bulk of it, right? I know you have some extra notes that we'll be able to add on. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. It's going to be a really fascinating build because we have two options. We can either do two versions because there are two movies. I did get a chance to do some homework this week, and I watched both movies. So they're very fresh in my mind. These are some classic movies. I love Short Circuit. It's to me, controversy with the main actor aside, because
fair enough,
no one's gonna argue with that. Just put that aside. The movie still holds up in almost every way. Is the acting like the best acting ever? No, but it's good for 80s acting.
Okay, so here's the deal. People are gonna say whatever they're gonna say. Like there's what I call the Star Trek effect. I love Star Trek. I am aware that there is a lot of corny ass shit in Star Trek, but I genuinely believe, personally, I believe that adds to its characters. So I don't necessarily think like what some would call bad acting nowadays. Like I think that is a part of the charm of a lot of these movies. Like even when I watch movies like The Fifth Element and I see like how boisterous what the fuck his name is, the radio host,
I don't remember the name,
but like a lot of what goes on is like stereotypical, like super corny ass stuff. Another one of my favorite movies, Galaxy Quest. It's just that stuff has so much value, and I believe the same is true for this movie. Like even the girl, just she's a little over the top, but like I feel like that's really her character.
But that's the thing is, and there's a difference between something that's a product of its time, because there are things that you can peg just by the era, right? There are certain things that are a product of its time, whether it's the graphics, whether it's you know, the background setting, whether it's, you know, the you know, there's a lot of different things that can peg when something was made, but there's also an effect of every era had its bad, right? There is I wouldn't say universally, but there is a general sense of things that are bad, right? You can go back to the 60s, 70s, and 80s and look at, you know, B movies and be like, yeah, there's no way that made a lot of money, right? You can still, to this day, you can go back to something like Bruce Campbell's movies, right? A lot of what Bruce Campbell does, he's the king of B movies, right? You look at almost anything.
Sure.
And that's going to be great movies. He's an amazing actor. He has a really unique take on his characters. He has a very decent range if you watch enough of his movies and you're not just watching Evil Dead, right? Like Ash is a great character, but Ash is one of his many characters.
Yeah.
And if that's all you know him for, that's fine. But going through like his repertoire, his movies are terrible. Like I wouldn't say terrible. They're worth a watch, but they are not something that I would say are going to win any awards.
I'll say the way it comes across to me is like, even though I believe initially when he created like the first Evil Dead movie, he was trying to do one thing. Like you said, he has range, but he didn't find it in that movie. He found that he was good at something else. And so he ran with it. And so he started doing that in a lot of ways and a lot of veins. But then he also, again, when he was able to hone his craft in a way that he felt comfortable, he expressed himself in the more serious ways and all that other kind of stuff. So like, it's all there for a reason. It's all there for a reason.
And yeah, so that's where I'm like with Short Circuit, it's one of those movies. It's one of the movies that is a good reminder to me, and I think is a good just a refresher for most people that still, I think the practical effects are still better than any CGI we have yet. Like now, my caveats, because there's exceptions to everything.
Sure.
And I was talking with Big C about this the other day when we were watching the movies, is I won't say the same for something like Transformers. The first Transformers movie was pure gold for the era that it was made in, right? It was the thing that you wanted CGI to produce, because you never got to see anything when they transformed, right? They were just blocks that just turned into a car. And then they turned into a blocky, robot. But to actually get to see the complicated inner workings, the gear, you could not have done that practically as good as they did with CGI, right? Do I think they could have done Avatar practically? I don't think to that level. You know what I mean?
Sure.
With everything they wanted to do with it. But, you even look at things like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. How many practical effects did they use to pull off certain shots? Right? Thinking of things like, how many different ways they did Hagrid. Not just forced perspective, but the bodysuits that they gave him, the stilts that they gave, like the ways that they approached making these characters feel real will still be better than just saying, you know what, put a blue screen up and I'll paint it in. Yeah, I know that's an oversimplification, don't hate me for that. But, in the end, movies from that era, I'm not saying are better than movies now in any regard, but when you look at the practical effects, when you look at what they were able to produce and just how much better it feels to watch.
I feel like number one, it's because they tried hard. Like imagine, like even just what we're talking about when it comes to D&D, like a lot of the times, like the creativity that a player is going to have when they're forced to work with what they've got,
like putting someone back to level 1.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it's like you know what's possible. You've been to level 20 before. You've done all the cool big things, but like now you are able to look at the world with like fresh eyes, right? So in a scenario like this, like people are having to, because they don't have the technology to do all the other stuff, so when they want to create something, they have to get creative.
Most of the best classic movies solved problems that no one knew existed, right?
Sure.
I remember one of the fun facts, one of my favorite YouTube channels to watch is Corridor Crew, because they have this series what's it called? Corridor Crew.
Okay.
And their whole gig is they're a bunch of animators. They do a lot of special effects. And so their whole deal, one of their main series on their channel is rating and reviewing great and bad CGI.
Okay.
So they'll sit down and sometimes they'll have a guest. A lot of the times they are the animators of the movie or the animation directors of the clips that they're watching.
So they're like judging them like in front of them.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But what they're, and so what they do is they'll get these experts. Sometimes they do even stunt ones. They'll do like, bad and, good and bad, like stunt action. And they'll bring the stunt people, like they'll bring, a famous stunt artist to talk about what they're watching. But yeah, so a lot of the visual effects ones is they'll just show a clip and they'll break it down. They'll break down, like, they'll say, hey, what do you think of this clip? They won't tell them what movie it's from. They'll just show them a clip. And then the other two will have to like break down what they think is happening, how it was done, and test their knowledge. And then they'll actually go into like the documentary and the behind the scenes and show what was actually done to make those things possible.
Interesting.
And so like one thing I learned from that very, from their series is in Terminator 2, the T-1000, that was the first of its kind. Like when you think of CGI now, back then, I didn't really, I was too young at that time to care, but they wrote a program from scratch, from the ground up, to do those visual effects. And the fact that he goes through the bars was thought impossible without practical effects. That when he actually just morphs through the bars and the bars go through his face.
Yeah.
That was basically, as far as what I understood from the episode, that was the world's very first CGI. Like we've had water before that, and they kind of showed like the progression, but that was the world's first actual CGI person doing CGI things. There was the T-1000 walking through the jailhouse bars. That was
like real life.
Like
bars.
imagine like it's kind of one of those things where it's like, imagine, watching Wizard of Oz for the first time and seeing like a colored movie.
Sure.
This is that. Like imagine, like we saw it, but imagine the people who were like in the industry. This movie came out and the jaws that must have just dropped going, what the fuck
How
did we
did that
just
actually
see?
happen?
And that's the thing, is like a lot of these movies, these great moments that we don't just not say brush off, but what
You don't notice
realize,
them because you don't realize the gravity of it.
and that's the thing, they literally had to write a program to do that. That was the birth of CGI software, was that scene. And it's just this is on a computer that doesn't have a gigabyte of anything. You could add everything on that computer together and it wouldn't even equal a gigabyte of anything. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It's so amazing. So when, that's where I love CGI and where it's come, and I love what it's been able to do. So again, there are times and places for it. But you think back to equally Indiana Jones, right? You can think of some cheap and cheesy, more practical effects, like the melting of the face in The Lost Ark.
Sure.
Great scene, amazing for its time, kind of cheesy now. Right? You could probably say that CGI could probably do a better melting face now.
Sure.
But at the same time, one of the things that, Terminator did really well is you had that one scene where he goes to the bars and that's all CGI. All of the other times when you see liquid metal, that's all real. They used mercury and gallium. So all the times you actually see the real liquid metal and it's moving, and the scene where he explodes after he gets hit with the nitrogen, and you see the bubbles coming together, that's mercury. They are filming mercury do what mercury does, which is just sit there, and if you kind of give it a little bit of vibration, it will cling to itself if it's close enough. So when they froze it and they melted him, when like the T-1000 got melted, that was gallium. That was a gallium mold that they basically melted. So it was a perfect actual mold of the actor, and then they just melted it. And then they did a reverse. I think they did a reverse to build his face up. So when he becomes the actor,
how is that not so much more expensive than CGI?
Because gallium, literally you can melt it, and if it doesn't happen, just literally put it back in the mold, reseal it, and start again. It doesn't decay. There's no loss of it. You just have to hire an artist to do a mold. Now, if I do a casting of your face,
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Now, granted, this casting was this big. So, when he when the T-1000 forms back into the person, and, like after he was exploded and all the things come back, when he reforms and it takes the face, that's the reverse footage of them melting the gallium model.
Right.
So and they just replaced him, the next shot in where he starts to move. So you think about like that's, repeatable, but it took labor. It took someone making a mold of his face.
Sure.
That's small, but CGI takes hours upon hours upon hours, and then the rendering, and then you have to put every little pixel in. I can make a mold, and there's a different art of, yes, is it more expensive?
See, that's the question. Like, I thought a lot of what CGI was you're not having to program every single pixel. Like, you wrote this program to do a lot of that. Like,
it really depends on the see. I would highly suggest watching Quarter Crew, because they also,
that's very interesting.
Not only do they do like the sit downs, right? They show themselves doing stuff. So one of my favorite things that they do is they have a challenge that they give themselves a couple times a year. And it's about satisfying videos. They'll have some where they're trying to create the most satisfying video, and others where they're trying to create the least satisfying video.
That would disturb me so much.
But they actually, like, the entire episode is them going through their process. Like, each one of them is actually showing you what they're doing, not just talking about it, but they show you the programs, they show you how they use them. So if you are actually not interested in learning it, but if you're actually interested in just like taking a peek behind and seeing what CGI is, that is absolutely 100% my go-to channel, because any video you watch, you'll learn something. Every time I watch it, whether it's about what they do or just some fact about a movie, like they'll have, some crazy director and he'll be like, so here's a cool thing about this scene right here that no one knows. Like, you know what I mean? And they'll just drop some, and you're just like, wait, what? Like they'll just be like, this moment, this, here? Like there was one where like some animation director was like, oh, you want to know this scene right here? You want to know why it looks so good? Because he actually was mad at him and he actually punched him in the face. I forget what movie it was, but it was like, like some 80s movie. And there was just a good scene where it was like, how did this, it was like one of the stuntmen ones. I think it was one of the stuntmen ones. And they were just talking about like, oh yeah, they had a fight earlier that morning. So that punch, 100% real. They kept it in because it looked so good. Like, it was just like, you just dropped that crazy ass bomb that they probably have tried to keep hidden and probably like hushed up and paid people off. And like, here you are 40 years later, like, oh yeah, letting it
out.
Was just that. He was just pissed. Like, it's so cool.
I feel like that's the kind of lore that people are gonna love to have. They'll like probably end up dropping it with the same frequency that they drop the what's that Lord of the Rings lore when he kicked the helmet.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so yeah,
people love.
If you are interested in CGI and how all of that stuff works, I highly suggest Corridor Crew. They're a great channel. I watch them at least once a week. CORRIDOR Crew.
All right.
And yeah, just they're fantastic. They're awesome. Just again, look through their channel because they have a ton of different series. But if you want specifically the CGI, the best and worst, like just look through the thumbnails, because most of the thumbnails, they'll highlight like one or two of the movies. So just look through the thumbnails, find a movie that you're like, oh, I want to know about how that CGI worked. And that's where you want to start.
Okay.
Because that's what hooked me, is they got me with like just a thumbnail where I'm like, I do kind of want to know about that. And from then on, I'm like, yep, just keep coming. Just keep it coming. Subscribed, followed, just, you know what I mean? Like, I was hooked on that. Yep, there it is. Thank you, Soul. So if you guys are interested in anything like that, go check them out after our stream. But anyway, today, we have other updates though. Tomorrow is the big day. So tomorrow we finally have our very first subathon for the Misfit Gamer Studios. We are 2.5 years old streaming. So it'll be about 2.5 years that we've been streaming. We are next month, I think on the 4th of August, is our 1 year anniversary on social media. We've been doing TikToks and YouTube shorts and everything else like that. So it's not just my birthday. It is actually a very good time to do this subathon, because it's basically next month is our 1 year anniversary as an affiliate too. We got affiliate in August of last year. I didn't think about that. We've almost been an affiliate. I keep thinking it's like, we've only been an affiliate for a couple months. We've been an affiliate for almost a year now.
That's wild.
We are 2.5 years old and we've been an affiliate for almost a year. We have surpassed like 55% of all streamers ever. Like this is totally a absolute time to celebrate.
100%.
So
100%. I'm super stoked for it.
I'm super excited. I dropped some stuff on TikTok. I might drop a short in the morning letting people know, but I did drop one today just kind of as like a little heads up. But yeah, I'm super stoked. We have a lot of fun things coming. We have spicy challenges, we have bean boozled and sour things that you can make us do. We have some secret things that you will find out when you show up tomorrow. There's a new LED board that is going to be posted here permanently on stream forever, at least until we move. But yes, it'll be right here behind me, constantly on stream after this weekend. And if you want your name on that board, show up tomorrow and find out how. But yes, that'll be behind me. Join the Discord if you want to see a sneak peek of what the board looks like.
Sneak peek.
Just a little sneak peek. And then let's see, what else do we have? We are painting minis. So right now we officially have myself, Vixie, Kage, the Wanderer, and Lucifer all showing up to do minis. So that is 5 minis that we are going to be giving away tomorrow throughout the entire stream. We will be there's opportunities to extend the stream. There's so many different things. We definitely did a couple extra stretch goals just in case, but the main goal, the big goal, whether or not we get there. But
sure,
of course, the sub goal is 30. We're small. We don't even have 100 followers just yet, but
we're getting there.
30 would be phenomenal. Knowing Soul and Hecate, I would not be upset with 5 or 6, maybe up to 10. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't want y'all buying out your entire paycheck here, but
y'all get crazy sometimes.
I don't. I know y'all. You get crazy if you can. So if you can't, don't feel bad. This is all for y'all, and everything that you do is voluntary. But there are things there to reward you, and there's a lot of different rewards. There are the sub goal rewards, which is just things I have to do. Shut up, Soul. No. There are things that I have to do that for each sub goal, like the spicy challenge and things like that.
Sure.
But there's some things that are other things that could happen. There are rewards. There are other prizes. There are community rewards, and there are individual rewards, such as getting your name up on the board. So if you want to know about what's happening, you will have to come and check that out tomorrow. Starting, let's see, the plan is it will be from 10 a.m. Excuse me. The plan right now is 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
So it starts at 6 hours. There's a ton of stuff that adds time.
Sure.
Almost everything that you do adds time other than the channel points and stuff like that.
Sure.
But point being, yeah, we absolutely have everything adding to the time. So we set it at an initial 6 hours.
The more you interact with us, the more we hang out with you.
Exactly. So that can just keep on going as long as we are getting that interaction. But it will be a bare minimum 6 hours. Hopefully everybody will be able to get their minis done, and we'll be able to get that out. Most likely what we'll end up doing is we'll just have either one of the mods, myself, or through Discord, because if you're subbing, you're probably going to be on the Discord. We'll do something to where you can send your address to our actual MisfitGamers.com email.
Yep.
So we'll probably just go to Vortex at MisfitGamersStudios or something like that, and then that way we can just. I don't want to deal with things like on Discord. Y'all know me. I don't do a lot of I don't do any DMing. I don't.
True that.
Everything I do, I need to keep on stream, because at least that way, I got a record of it. So if I fuck up, I'll own it. But I'm not gonna deal. I've seen it too much. I follow Atosi. He's another YouTube streamer, and all he does is TikTok live stream drama. And I see it too much. Where you see too many of these streamers who it's just like. One DM goes too far, you say a weird thing or a wrong way, or you just get too close with somebody. And I'm just like, you know what? I appreciate all my fans. I want to have that relationship, but I don't want to have that relationship. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that relationship belongs here on the stream and in the Discord, but we don't need DMs like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to be reaching out to you personally. So I want to keep it clean. I don't want it to be in Twitch DMs. I don't want it to be in Discord. I don't want it to be in a place that it could be leaked, or a place that there could be some questionable of why do you have this person's address. If it's through the email, through like if we say like, hey, you have to give this as your subject line, at least that way we have all of our bases covered. Like if you email Vortex at MisfitGamersStudios and the subject line is 2025 subathon giveaway. And then it's just, your username, address, and which one you won. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, who's going to question? Exactly. Even if you question it, it's like, it's all here. You saw, I have a video of the subathon. I have a giveaway on the subathon. I have a form for the giveaway on the subathon in my email. Like, it's just that, right? It's I know it's probably way more than it needs to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
but I don't know. I'm paranoid. There's way too much stuff that can be taken wrong. So I just want to do everything cleanly and professionally.
You know, like I know it's super basic, but like honestly, the thing that first comes to my mind is a freaking Google form. A little Google form. I don't have to worry about your email. You don't have to sign into nothing. All you have to do is click this link, answer some questions, type in a field, and press send, and then I get the information, and then I don't need to know anything else about you.
Exactly.
You know?
And maybe that's it. Maybe if you want to talk about that tomorrow, maybe during stream,
sure,
we can actually set that up before the first giveaway. Because I don't know how that would work. Because all we need is their username and the address I'm sending it to. Because it ain't gonna have a return address. That's all. All I'm saying is we don't have a business address yet, so it ain't gonna have a return address. It's just gonna be in a small box sent to you, and we're gonna hope for the best.
Yep.
But you know, that's kind of, you know, my thing is like, I want to protect my viewers just as much as us. I don't need anything more than your username and where you want it sent to. Like, that's
exactly.
it. I don't need anything more. You know, it's gonna be free. Like, the giveaway is built into Twitch, so we're just gonna use that.
Perfection.
But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm very, very excited with everything. I'm hopeful that we'll get through some things. Again, at least getting, you know, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where I may have, I don't know how to do subathons. You know what I mean?
Sure, for sure. I mean,
so I don't know if, like, in my opinion, I don't know if it was a bad move or a good move on whether or not I should have like put every single individual sub as a different goal, right? Like, 1 sub is one thing, 2 subs is something, 3 subs, or if I should have gone like, you know, every 5. Like, it's one of those things where I didn't know what I was really doing. So I hope it's cool. I hope it's chill. But we'll see what happens.
That's fair. Like, you might have a lot to do when somebody subs 5. You know,
and that's the thing is, it's, you know, it's definitely built for the hype train, but it's also not meant to be greedy. It was just what made the most sense for me.
And listen, all of this stuff, it's an experiment. We're trying it out. Maybe somebody would give you the advice, oh no, that's a terrible idea, don't do it. But maybe that's just because they couldn't handle it, but you very much could. And so,
and hey,
like,
you know
maybe it's a vibe.
If it gets to the point where we're 5 hours in, we've, you know, only gotten like an extra 30 minutes extension, maybe I'll start, you know, chipping away at the sub goals. It's like, hey, give me 1 more and I'll actually push us up to the next sub goal. And I'll, like, I'll just, you know, start going through them at 1 at a time or 2 at a time. Like, if we're having people still there, we're just not getting the massive amounts, you know, I'll just start doing them early.
Sure.
So we'll see. It's a test run. It's our first one.
We're going to make it happen, y'all.
We'll see.
We're going to make it happen.
As I said, my biggest hope is, like, if I can get 10 to 15 unique viewers tomorrow, I'd be very happy. Like, if I can get at least that much of our Discord and our community at least popping in to say hi, I would be extremely happy.
I think that's a good goal to have, you know.
Like, you know, subs, tips, all of that stuff aside, this is just going to be, I think, hopefully, and it's not just, you know, bad for everyone's social schedule, but I hope that this is going to be a good pulse check for going live 6 hours during a Saturday, starting in the morning and going until a good part of the afternoon. This should be a good pulse check on where we are as a community. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm just hoping for a vibe check on, like, how big is our community? Is our community just the 5 that show up every week? Or is there just some outliers where we just don't vibe with the schedule, but they're still...
Sure.
So that's
okay.
That's what I'm hopeful for, is if we can push that 2 digits of unique viewers, and it's not just a bunch of new followers, but like actually the community members, I'd be super stoked. At least that way I'd feel better about like the community that we've built.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough yapping. I don't think there's any other I don't think we have anything else. You know what I didn't do? I didn't reset the community stream for this month. But that's because I've been so busy.
Oh, that's fair.
So that's fine though. Maybe depending on after the subathon, maybe depending on what happens there, maybe we'll set up maybe we'll have some stupid goal during tomorrow that, I mean, if we have 5 to 10 of the community,
sure,
maybe we'll do some stupid game where they can earn next week or next month, and then just not have to pay for it. That's what we'll do. You'll have a chance to earn it.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think it's time we can get started, right?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Luckily with this one, it's actually gonna just, I think, be more or less. I think we're only gonna be looking up D&D references, because for the most part, since I got to watch the movies, I took pretty extensive notes on basically everything I saw him do that wasn't,
relevant
basic.
to the build.
Yeah, well, yeah, just like, moving around. Obviously, he has arms, he can look around, but I'm ignoring the fact that he can technically turn his torso 360 without his legs. I'm kind of ignoring the fact that he has treads. Because D&D, at least 5e, doesn't have like an option to say, oh, he's really good in, against over rocks and this kind of terrain, but not good over this, right? There's really no differentiation of terrain. So we can't really equate his physicalness, right? The fact that his torso can spin, the fact that he has treads, I don't know if that really translates, and I don't think that matters, because if you're going to do it in D&D, you want your character to fit the setting, but the build is what matters.
I definitely feel like there's a way you could equate it, but I don't think what we have, and because what we try to do on a pop culture build is do as little homebrew as possible, so we're trying to take from what already exists. I don't think that already exists in a way that we could take from it.
True.
So,
and I don't think it matters, because again, when you do the physical build, that should be what setting you're in. You know what I mean? Whatever setting, if you're going to be let's say a Warforged, whatever that looks like in your setting is fine. You don't have to look like Johnny Five. Just like with Shazam, you don't have to technically look like that. It's just that's going to get you the closest to
these powers,
right?
Yes.
So let's hope that that's what we can do here. I'm getting D&D 5e wiki open. What else? What other ones should we be using?
5e tools is always one that I find is kind of like a little catch-all.
Oh, and then 5e D20. That's kind of good for some homebrew stuff. Is it 5e tools or 5e
dot tools?
There we go. Cool. Oh, that's just magic. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, let me switch over to the us, and we're going to go down to pop culture builds here. No, actually, no. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I had changed the cameras around last time.
Oh, like the crops and whatever.
Yeah. So we're gonna do. I think that's fine there. U40. That's better. Where's chat? Chat's perfect. Okay. Sweet. And I just need our title. All right. So I guess we will do a quick intro here, and then we'll get to building it out.
Yes, let's.
All right. Well, as always, chat, feel free to spam hi YouTube when you hear Greetings Gamers, as we may turn this into a video. I actually kind of fucked up. I've actually not posted a main video for 2 weeks. Like, I accidentally skipped 1 week, and then I just been so busy. I haven't gotten, that's the second week in a row, but it's like the long videos ain't getting shit anyway. So, it's hard. I'm not that worried about it because, we're not losing anything for me not editing, and I'm getting a lot of time. Like, if I had been keeping up with the editing, I probably wouldn't have had this subathon ready.
Oh, that's fair.
So it's kind of one of those things. Anyway, we'll do a quick little intro here, and then we'll get to the actual build. All right. We are doing Johnny 5. Let me get the title ready to unlock. Oh, I can actually. Perfect. Let's see. Cool. Here we go. Greetings, gamers, and welcome to another live. Oh, no, hold on. Why? Why did I fuck that up? Brain.
You getting there? So close, soul.
Great. And
It's all right. We'll bring it back. We'll go way before.
okay, here we go. Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to the Misfit Gamer Studios. I'm your host, Vortex. That gentleman over there is your co-host, Kage, and this is Pop Culture Builds. Today, we are going to be building the iconic main character from the 1980 movie circuit, and yes, that is going to be Johnny 5. I am very excited about this because I have just watched both the first and the second movie this week, so they are fresh on my mind. I have a whole list of things that we're going to do, but we're going to have to figure out, are we going to do two different builds for the two different versions, or is it going to just be one giant build from level 1 to 20? We're going to figure that out today, so join us as we figure out exactly what Johnny 5 would look like in D&D. Not bad.
Beautiful. PEA, beautiful. See, that's all we had to do. Do a little gather.
So I have a list here of things. Let me get up our, no, not the side by side just yet. So I now have my list here, and I am going to, not that one.
So just to answer one of the questions that you asked, one that I feel like is the primary question that we need to ask before we move forward in the build. Do we do one or two?
Yes, so that's the main question, because,
and this is my initial thought, is that we do two, specifically because there were features removed. If he just added features, I would say let's do one. It's all building to a culmination of one final product. But because the product that we have in the second movie has pieces missing that we did have in the first movie, you know, namely his weaponry, and because I feel like that's very much so, as we were talking a bit beforehand, you know, that's a very akin part to one of the first things that you thought of when you were thinking of what to create. Yes, as the build is because of the type of weaponry that he's using. So
and that's true, yes, because in the first one he has his laser because he's still the militarized combat version, and in the second one that's replaced with a multi-tool box. So there's definitely that. There's also the replacement of the parachute into a glider. So these could be discussed one of two ways: either two different builds,
sure,
or we do something highly unorthodox but well within the realm of Misfit Gamer Studios, and we could technically say that one gets replaced because he does have a plasma cutter in the second one, which he didn't have in the first. That could have technically been the replacement of his laser, but D&D doesn't like doing stuff like that. It doesn't like taking something that's like a ranged weapon and then turning it into a tool.
Yeah.
So while we could do something unorthodox, I do kind of lean towards the idea of the pop culture build representing each side.
Sure.
Which could give us a bigger breadth of things. And I feel that if we do that, we probably won't end up with a level 20 character, because otherwise I think even maybe the second one could be considered, but more or less I think, you know, it might be the first one that we don't get full level 20. But it does make me think, because we've talked about this before about what would happen if we didn't have a level 20 character.
Sure.
And I think previously we discussed the idea of finishing it out, right? Like if something was only a level 15 on its basic build,
We would like hypothesize what a level 20 version would be.
But why should we do that? And specifically in respect to Johnny 5. Like, let's say we make Johnny 5 the first version, and let's say he only feels like level 10, right? So we pump him out as level 10. We could hypothesize and theorize about what 10 more levels would do, but that's really taking a lot of creative what's the word? A creative freedom.
Creative licenses.
Creative license to expand upon something that, again, is not what we do here, right? We're trying to find the best equation. And it gives me the inspiration that if I give you a level 10 Johnny 5, the character you all know and love, because you're taking control of it, isn't it kind of up to you at that point? Because we know what Johnny 5 can do as Johnny 5. So why should we give him more than he gets? That's the point, right? We're giving you the build and the roadmap to become the character. But if that character is incomplete in terms of D&D, maybe that's the more fun of it. Because we've discussed that before, right? Where one of the major problems with 5th edition is when you pick something, you kind of just know everything. The downside of that, though, is how many DMs are going to want to, pick something where it's only built to level 10 and you and them have no idea what's past it, right?
Why the heck not? Like, why are people afraid of that?
Because 5th edition doesn't have a mechanic for you to easily build out. That most people don't have the.
I mean, sure, but my perspective is you don't need a mechanic for it. Like you just explore. You just poke the edges of the map. Like when you play a video game for the first time, do you not test to see if you can jump off the edge or not? There's plenty of games where it's like, no, it's an invisible wall. You can't jump off the edge and you don't have to worry about that ever. Or it's like, yeah, you better be really freaking careful because it's super easy to fall off the edge and not even realize it.
Some even give you an achievement for it.
Like some facts, but like just explore your worlds. That's whatever. It's fine.
Okay. So
I don't feel some type of way about it.
So let's see some basic facts about Johnny 5. So I'm okay doing 2 versions, and I'm okay building them out until we think they're done. And then wherever we're at in the stream, we'll figure out then whether or not it feels best to leave them or to continue building them.
I agree with you. I think not building them out. I think making them be what they are, like, is the idea. Like that's what we're here to come up with. Like, yeah, we could hypothesize, but I think that is, from my perspective, much better to leave up to any potential player's imagination.
And who knows? Maybe we'll get inspired.
Sure.
And we'll
if we have some ideas, sure, we can always play around with our own ideas. But
okay, so yeah, we'll build 2, and we'll do, and then we'll kind of figure them out. And honestly, what I'll do is I'll write out my notes here for each one. I can at least write out. So, how about I do this then? Because I can do Johnny 5. So actually, well, here, perfect. I got it.
Johnny number 5. Number Johnny 5. Oh, hilarious.
Okay, so we'll have number 5 over here. And then
it is true, he doesn't actually get his name until the last scene of the movie.
Yeah, and to the very end when he finally names himself. So technically, the first build should be number 5. And then we'll do, okay, so I need to build a whole new reference. Build info 2. Okay, so build info, and then build info 2 will be over here.
Boom. Oh, that looks clean.
And then I will finally turn off thumbnail for now. Okay, and then the second build info will be Johnny 5.
Johnny? Oh, they both changed. Are they linked?
Wait, hold on. Oh, are they both changing?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Oh, no. Hold on.
Wild. Disrespectful.
Okay.
Bada boom. Well, I do think the right one's a little bit bigger than the left one.
Yeah.
Oh. Booty.
There. All right. So we have Johnny 5 and number 5. Okay, so what I can do real quick is we'll just discuss what my notes were from the movie, and then add anything that I miss or that you may have like seen elsewhere, and then we'll just kind of build off of that, and then go into what that actually means. So for number 5, other than the fact that he's a robot, we first see him with an ability to target, well, so he has targeting. So what that equates to may be like a feat. First thought about archery, because he can, target, have a target on a distance. So that could mean anything like Hunter's Mark, or a feat that like, isn't there an archery feat that allows you to like, overcome certain amount of,
there's a sharpshooter feat that allows you to like add a bunch to your, to your plus to hit. You can add 10 to your plus to hit. Like a static plus 10 to
isn't there one also that lowers the cover by a factor of 1/4, like half cover becomes quarter, full cover becomes partial cover?
I think it's the same one.
Sharpshooter. Okay, so like targeting would be sharpshooter.
So out of curiosity, when we're talking about targeting, like is this like what you would call like a supernatural version of targeting, something that's like outside of the normal for most people?
Based on what the movie will, reverse. He's a robot. He has perfect like targeting, as in his targeting and his laser were like dead on, right? Like
sure,
he'll hit a bullseye every time. So how does that represent in D&D some sort of an advanced ability to do a ranged attack of some sort, right? I think sharpshooter is perfect because it allows you to represent that idea of what he can do.
So when we say that, like there were moments when the other 3 robots were coming after him and they were shooting at him and missing some of the time. So the question is the original militarized version one that's like the idea is, hey, I can't miss. Like I'm lightweight Hawkeye. Like I'm gonna get my shot.
So great question. So technically, all of them were prototypes. So they all have some sort of defect, I would assume, right? They're not all identical, and they're not all near perfect. Because Johnny became, at this point, he's now has his consciousness.
So they were not the same as each other?
They were all the same model, but they were, number 1, number 2, number 3. Each one was technically a prototype. So each one was technically better than the next, theoretically.
Okay.
Like they weren't in mass production yet. The 6 were the presentation. These were the very only ones in existence, and one of them became alive. So I represent that as why the other ones weren't as good at targeting, is because he's number 5, and I think he was number 5 of 6. Most of them just were inferior to him in some way or another, right? Maybe they had something better, but the idea is that each one probably got tinkered with slightly, because each and every one of them represented probably a different respect of the build, because they weren't ready for mass production yet. So that's my hypothesis. There's no the only way I'm going off of is because they did say they're all prototypes. So my only thing is, if you're building prototypes, you're not going to build 5 identical ones. Unless you're like done and ready for production, like Boston Dynamics. How many dogs and standing robots did they build before you got the last one, right? That's how I look at it, is even though Boston Dynamics had multiple robots, why would you build the exact one when this one maybe be better at targeting, this one may be better at communication, this one may be slightly better at terrain. So you show
my
off.
Thought was it was more of like they were testing sustainability, like how well can we replicate the same thing over and over and over again? How close to each of them get to each other? Are there any variances? Is there any areas? Like, that's why I thought they made multiple of them. That's why I thought they were all.
I would not say that that's in the prototype phase. That's when you have the model you want, then you prove that you can replicate it. But I would say that at the prototype phase, they're still testing a bunch of stuff. And when you're in a prototype phase, maybe you can't reproduce it. Maybe the idea of this one's targeting software or lenses weren't calibrated the same way as the next one, right? Because there isn't a process refined just yet.
But again, that's kind of what I think is my point, is like, that's what they were trying to do. That's the purpose of making multiple.
But you don't do that in the prototype phase, though. Like when you make a prototype,
that's what a prototype is. It's like, I'm testing that out.
Yes, but you don't mass produce like a prototype. Like a prototype, you usually make one to show proof of concept, and then each one is an iteration of itself. You don't make 5 prototypes of the same thing all at once. You make one to make sure you can work it, and then you make it better and better and better until you have the one that's going to be mass produced. That's usually the way that you would do a product line for like like building a new product or trying to build out some kind of new machine, is you have to build one that works, and then each time you build it out, because you don't have enough time, effort, and usually material. Even the government has to have a working prototype before they'll invest in multiple. So each, again, depends on how you want to interpret it, because there is no proof of either of these, right? Like the movie doesn't say whether or not, but we do see Johnny has better targeting than they do. So
again, I wouldn't say that we see that he has better targeting than they do necessarily. Like, from my perspective, it's like we only see certain moments of his targeting. Like, I believe the first time we see him out there, he hits every single one of his shots without missing. But I think, number one, that was specifically a demonstration for all these people. That was before
he became alive. Because I would definitely say anything before he became alive is kind of...
And that I feel like is the most accurate he ever was in that. In that.
But every time he did use the laser for the rest of the movie, he hit everything he wanted to hit. He just was he was a pacifist. He didn't kill. Sure. But he did make sure to hit everything he wanted to hit. So again,
I will say he did a really good job when it came to what's her name's ex-boyfriend or whatever, and shooting off the heels and his buckle and like all that extra stuff.
Right? Like that, I don't think.
Now maybe it was because it was such close range and you were only, but
that's
still.
where I think. But
in such quick succession,
I do think sharpshooter. I think you had it though. I think sharpshooter makes the most sense if that's the direction we're going with a ranged attack.
I don't mind sharp. Let me actually look up the actual.
Yeah, because I think sharpshooter makes sense just because it represents. And again, even if all of the other ones had the same accuracy, technically he is the only one, because we know, at least in the second movie, that the program was scrapped and all of the other ones were destroyed. So even if they all had this ability, he is still the only one. So there is a uniqueness to saying that his targeting is above average, at least, to human standards, right? I think at least that way we could justify it if we are going the Warforged route.
So it's interesting. I was wrong on the sharpshooter feat. I feel like specifically for Johnny 5, this should be reversed, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So what happens is attacks at long range no longer impose disadvantage on your ranged weapon attacks. And I feel like that fits really well with
Say that one more time.
so attacking at long range does not impose disadvantage on your ranged weapon attack. So normally in 5th edition you have 2 ranges.
Oh, and you're saying reverse as in you shouldn't get disadvantage at melee range.
No, so normally in 5th edition you have 2 sets of ranges. You have your first set of range, like
Right.
90 feet, and that's just a regular attack
That's
roll.
your effective range and max
then
range.
Before longer than that, like I have disadvantage to hit those targets at that longer range, almost like
Right.
I'm arcing the shot or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Squirrel Girl. So this is saying that no longer happens.
Right. Yeah,
So-
you just get your full range at your accuracy.
Everything's just a normal roll because his is a laser. There's no like damage fall off. He's
Yeah.
fairly precise.
And that's
feel
why we
like,
just call it a crossbow. Like honestly, realistically, it's a crossbow.
and if it is a crossbow, there's also another feat in here, crossbow
Okay.
expert. We might want to look at later as well.
And yeah, and that's why I was trying to think of like some other ranger feats because I could have sworn there was a feat that just improves your ability to hit like something behind cover.
That's the very next line.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
the very
it's
next
still
line.
the same
It's
feat.
it's
It was
the very
okay.
next line.
Okay. I
So
thought we were just
the
both-
next section says your ranged weapon attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. So only full cover is going to provide you cover from this person.
Right. And I think I kind of like that. I think I still think that works. We don't want to add any more knowledge, but or more language, but I kind of think because of the boots scene that you mentioned, I do kind of think he should not have disadvantage at close range with a ranged weapon.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I legit think that could be, but I don't. That's too much
Fair
homebrew.
enough. Fair enough.
Because
And we might be able to find another way to make that happen somewhere else down the road.
That should be a feat, though.
But
Why isn't that a feat?
the last piece of this is the part that I think should be backwards. It says, before you make an attack with a ranged weapon that you are proficient with, you can choose to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll. If the attack hits, you give +5 damage to the attack.
And you think
+10.
So you think sacrifice damage for accuracy?
I think sacrifice damage for accuracy. It's like, yeah, maybe I'll get a -5 to my to like a standard -5 to my damage, but I get a +10 to hit. So I'm way more likely to freaking hit. Like that's now maybe +10 is a lot, maybe whatever.
I mean,
but like
so to be fair, I do like you again. If we were gonna full mod this and really homebrew it, I think reversing both of those effects. Instead of giving him the long range, he gets no disadvantage at melee range with ranged weapons, and that's reversed.
Sure.
I would see both of those as a homebrew version.
I would just add that line to the first one instead of flip it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think sharpshooter works. I think that's actually the best way to go.
I'm here for sharpshooter.
The more you read it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's even so. I agree that the homebrew version would be better, but if we're gonna go with, unless you can find another one or chat, if you have another archer feat out there that might work for this, let us know.
So
anything that represents better targeting and just being able to hit your target better with a ranged weapon, I think is the way I was leaning.
I'm gonna read for you, crossbow expert.
Let's do it.
Number 1, it says you ignore the loading property of crossbows with which you're proficient, so you don't have to load it anymore. No more bonus action to like, which is great, especially for this. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attacks anymore.
And you know what? This is definitely going to be at least a level 5, so we at least have 2 ASI/feats. By the time this build's done, we can easily take both of these.
For sure.
So I'm thinking
sure.
both of these together. That sound. I think this one almost sounds better.
And then the last line says, when you use the attack action and take an attack with a one-handed, you can use a bonus action. So basically, it increases the number of shots you can fire because you can do it like a bonus action shot with your offhand, basically.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So now the only question, we'll talk about this as we do the build, but which one comes first? Because technically in the series, then the build,
sure,
one of these will come first, but I like having both of these as the feats instead of ASIs. I think that's great. I think, yeah. Okay. Damn, that's so good. That's so good. Okay. Let's see. How do you feel about his speed? Because what's funny is like it's a little inconsistent based on the second movie. Like in the second movie, he's way slower, Like in the first
Is
movie,
he really?
So in the first movie, he outruns a damn helicopter and
And
can
so
outrun anyone
in
on
the
foot.
first movie. There's an actual line that says he can go up to 35 miles an hour.
Yes.
35 miles per hour. Like
It's
that's
fucking
freaking
fast.
for
But
being
in the
on foot.
But in the second movie, he can't run two out of weight or out of shape dudes down New York streets.
Was this after he got damaged?
No, this was just like he just wasn't that like. So I'm just saying
Because I
like,
did see there was a scene where he was holding on to a car, and I wasn't sure why he was holding, unless he was just going that like 60 miles an hour. But
that was when he was damaged. But like earlier, he was definitely shown not going that fast. So I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, so 35 miles an hour. Like what? So his speed's got to be like 45.
I mean,
Or at least like 35, 40. Like his normal is 30, right?
normal's 30.
So he's got to have a like
35 miles.
well, or
Like that's some monk speed.
or
That's
what,
monk
is
speed.
there another feat that we could give? Is there another thing other than his? Because I mean, he's going to be a warforged, so that's not going to give him any speed. So far, we're leaning ranger if that's the way we go. Or I think we also talked about maybe artificer, depending on what else we see. I think the other build's the artificer, though. I think this is the ranger build. The other one's the artificer build. Because he actually is seen in the second movie putting stuff together and being able to tinker with stuff. And
Yeah, but even in the first movie, he reprograms himself. But regardless, we can get there. We can get there.
that is true. He does reprogram. I mean, yeah, I don't know how to equate that.
And he exchanges one of his arms for another one, like in the back of a thing. And
But that's more like mending, right? Like,
and he creates an entire replica of himself in the back of that car while everybody
sure you can
and he sends that shit out.
I mean,
as a decoy.
it's not a full, but yeah, so there's something to
like
be said
there's
there.
just something to be said for his innate ability with technology and tinkering that I feel like lends a little bit to artificership. But I 100% get ranger as well.
And just because definitely in the second movie, like the second build, 100% has way more of that artificer feel because there's no combat. Like, he has very little combat aspects.
Actually,
so yeah.
where is it?
I mean, we could give him like blacksmithing or something like that. Like we could give him like a smithing option.
You get.
Because yeah, I'm just trying to think of like how we could represent his speed, because he obviously has some sort of speed benefit, but if it's not going to come from his race, how else do we give him any kind of boost of speed
like,
in D&D sense?
Like the biggest thing that I can think of that I would consider things being like a speed boost is being a rogue or a monk, where you can specifically dash as a bonus action, which means you can dash twice in a turn, which means you can be faster than the majority of the people.
Which would be really good for this, yeah.
Or doing something like being a monk, which gets increasing additions to your speed, or giving them some sort of magical item. And so I don't know how much you want. The majority of these builds we've done before have been without magical items.
We want to keep it as natural
and
as
with the
possible.
exception of, I don't know if we gave Alucard a sword or not.
We didn't give him anything special. Now, Rangers have some rogue abilities. They do not have the dash ability.
They have rogue-like abilities.
I mean, they have like they can do some things rogues can do. But
sure.
they don't have their own dash, right? That's only
no, they do not get a bonus action dash.
I mean, you could say, I mean, he kind of sort of has been shown to be sneaky-ish. So, I mean, we might be able to justify a dip into rogue.
I mean,
well, actually, we do need lockpicking.
The feet at the back of the car when he hid down there and they didn't even know he was down there. Like that alone for me is worth a two levels in rogue. So, you could peek in there.
So rogue rogue. Okay, so good. So we'll justify the speed with being a rogue. So we can do ranger rogue and then artificer rogue, because he has some of those same things. He still has lockpicking in the second one.
Sure.
So I definitely think that we could. Okay, so I didn't even think about rogue. I knew he had lockpicks. I just didn't even think about adding the feature, because I assumed ranger would have lockpicking.
Not traditionally, but
okay. So along with lockpicking, we do see him have an Omni tool, which we don't see him use as much in the first movie as we see him use it more in the second.
Sure.
So I will say that leads into the artificer. But
sure.
But we could say that because we don't see it as much in the second or in the first movie, we'll just leave it for the second build. Because yeah, he does do artificery things. So either Artificer Rogue...
And basically, I qualify that as the right tool for the job, because you can literally just swap out any tool set as an Artificer.
So really, the targeting and the laser, if those are coming from Sharpshooter, there's nothing that says that we can't give an Artificer Sharpshooter.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to make them distinct.
So that's what I was looking for.
They're two different builds. But they might just be the same class, just slightly different direction.
Biggest reason... Oh, but you can take a feat for that. Hold on. So the biggest reason that I was on board with Ranger is because you get a fighting style, and you can take archery as a fighting style, which adds to your increased accuracy.
Right.
But there is a fighter initiate that you can just take, so you can take a fighting style as any class now and get that same benefit.
A feat, though?
It's a feat.
Okay, so we'll keep that one on the back burner because we don't want to overload ourselves with I don't know how many feats we're gonna get. So we'll keep that one on the back burner too. Yeah, I'm because again, I if we're gonna do two builds, you know, I don't want them to be too similar, but you know, they're only going to have like one or two abilities difference. But maybe the option is, maybe it's just options. Like, hey, at this level, you can take the number 5 option or the, you know, the Johnny option.
Okay.
And maybe you can mix
Although I will say the last time we did it, I'll have to look at how we put it together, but I don't think we actually gave them, oh, you take this at this level, you take this at this level. We kind of left that up to them to decide when they're going to take whatever they're going to take.
We just laid out these are the things that you need from these classes
in order to make the end result of X, Y, and Z.
So I guess we could just do two, just a number 5 Johnny 5, and they'll just have different things you take whenever you wanted to be more this one, more that one, or your own mix, right? Maybe you just want to make your own 5.
Fair enough.
So we'll still do, we can still work with 2. Okay, so we got the rogue from Studio. So we have Omni Tool. So the Omni Tool specifically with lockpick. So we'll give that from the Artificer. So one of the things that I had mentioned to you, and I think is just representative of his personality, is yes, he feeds for information, but as in general, especially in the first movie, he doesn't really know anything, right? Like he doesn't know anything, but alternatively, when you tell him to do something, he will get it done. You know, like he doesn't know anything in the world, but he's very good at, if given direction, he will figure out how to do it, right? With the tools at his disposal. I think that's very reminiscent of someone with a high wisdom, low intelligence, right?
Sure.
So it's that, like, it's kind of the tinkerer's mindset, right? Like if I have a goal and materials, I can figure it out, common sense, you know, I can put it all together. But in terms of, he just wants to read because he doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have actual intelligence. He doesn't know anything, but he can figure out, you know, he doesn't know anything, but he's programmed to be able to do things.
Sure.
So I figure that's a good way to say, like, if we're going to do his stats, we can probably put his intelligence as his dump stat, because he's probably not going to be casting a lot of magic. Might be some, but he won't be. He's not going to be a full-on caster.
Depending on, well, I'll say if we do go Artificer, now I will say there is a I don't know if it's a supplemental or if it's just the new 2024 rules or whatever, but there is somewhere where when it comes to taking a class and that class has any sort of magic, you have the ability to choose your casting class. There is a supplemental that allows for that flexibility when in 5th edition. And
so you can choose what stat will be your
because and now again, however we want to do things, we can do things, but if we're looking at things, like, I will say specifically for artificers, intelligence is the casting class, but I agree with your assessment that I feel like intelligence should be on the lower side of things.
And it doesn't have to be the dump stat. It's just, I think in terms of wisdom, he should have the higher wisdom.
Sure. And I would even agree, like, it feels like throughout the movie, his intelligence, even though
he's always naive and innocent,
yes,
even though he knows knowledge. And even in the second one, he is shown to have like earned more knowledge, right? Like everything you say to him, he's like a thesaurus. He'll just rattle off and he's shown in the second movie to do that a lot more, but he's also shown to still be very gullible. But once he pieces things together, he's also very emotional about it. Like, it's very easy to trick him, but once he feels that he's been tricked, he gets very angry about it, right? He's like, so I feel like, again, that's very much low intelligence, but high wisdom, because once you realize it, you know how to react to it and take care of it, but you're not seeing it happen in front of you. So again, maybe it doesn't work that way, and maybe both builds swap it. Maybe we do his second movie build, we give him a higher intelligence and lower wisdom, because in the second movie, he's in the big city, so he doesn't have that common sense. So you could say his second build is more intelligent because he has all of that knowledge. He's read all these books, but goes to the big city and easily gets swindled because he doesn't know common sense. So we could do that. We could say this build is one way and the next build is the flip-flop. And that gives people more customization when you want to build this, which direction you want to go. So that's an option. That's an option. Okay. I am going to skip ahead a little bit and move the high charisma to here on the list. That was later down in my list, but
we're talking about stats.
Yeah, I'm just going to move it here because we just talked about wisdom versus intelligence. So I'm going to say that we definitely want him to have a higher than average charisma, mainly because unless they're there to kill him, anybody who meets him and talks to him likes him. Even the second movie, the bad guys end up, liking him. And funny enough, I mentioned this to you before stream, and I mentioned this to Vixie when we were watching the movie. But one thing that I caught was there's that movie magicness happening with the relationship between him and the female protagonist.
Sure.
And just it's very 80s weirdness, but I get it. There's also just, it's kind of what people are doing with ChatGPT. So there's also a very timelessness to this very awkward, like, wow, you got emotional about this robot. And I'm like, have you seen ChatGPT? That actually makes sense because you could touch that thing. So there, you call it movie magic or whatever you will with that. But there's also a comment that's made in the early part of the movie that actually makes sense. What's going on, Hecate? Why she flip-flopped like so readily from like being scared of him and angry with him to just being like, oh, well, come on inside and let me show you where like there's a mindset where, she's just being dumb and she thinks it's an alien. But the comment is when they're talking about the build and talking about how they're going to be such a benefit to the government and the military, Crosby, one of the makers, makes an offhanded comment that how funny it is that these were originally built to be marital aids. And everyone in the room laughs except for him because it wasn't a joke to him. And so taking that offhanded comment that these were built as marital aids, now whether that is a bedroom thing or a marital relationship therapist.
Yeah.
However you want to take what marital aid meant, you can take that whichever direction. But if you take it in the mindset of a marital, like a relationship aid, not a other one.
Sure.
It makes sense that he would have a high charisma because the whole point would be to break down people's barriers and get them talking, getting them liking you. So I think between that offhanded comment and how most people react to him, it's definitely for sure he has a very high intelligence.
I feel like there's something to be said about the somewhat of innocence that plays along, especially when it comes to like a lot of the females that end up being his friends, and even some, like you were mentioning earlier, some of the bad guys even they see him for what he is a little bit more, and his genuineness kind of leans. So I'm 100% not mad at a high charisma, but
I think that honestly, actually, his dump stat has to be Dex. He is strong. He's stronger than average, but not insanely.
What about the other stats that we have?
It's really, honestly, Dex has got to be his dump stat because he has no dexterity. He's fast, but he has a lot of movement on his own body.
Sure.
But he has no acrobatics. He could barely jump. He can jump, but he's not jumping up in a tree. He could grapple into a tree, but you know what I mean? Like, he is not dexterous by any stretch. So I will say
traditionally, the way 5th edition works, all ranged attacks are made with your dexterity, not your strength.
Okay. Which is weird, but I get it because it's a bow. That makes more sense for the bow thing.
You know, like whether you hit your target is more about how steady your hand is, not how much muscles that you have. So
maybe the sharpshooter crossbow expert will
definitely. But I will also,
and a dump stat can mean 10. I mean, if we're going to give him something like 15 strength, let's say 16 wisdom and a 14 intelligence and an 18 charisma, we can easily give him a 10 dex.
Sure.
And that balances out those stats kind of fine, because I figure it's going to be something like a 16 to an 18 charisma, probably a 16, maybe 17.
Sure.
Wisdom, probably between 14 and 16. Intelligence, maybe 12, maybe 10 to 12.
Sure.
Dexterity, 8 to 11. Strength around maybe a 12 to a 14. Like, just ballparking it.
Sure.
Just, he's not insanely strong, but he's definitely stronger than most.
Yeah.
Like, stronger than a human. But he's not, like, he was never shown, like, he can lift a human with one hand. Like, we know that much. He can lift a human being easily.
I swear there was a part where he picked up 2 humans.
He was spinning them around. There was one scene where he did spin some humans
That's
around.
Right.
So he has that kind of strength, but he, and he can bend like, a metal bar. But he's
Did he
not
ever,
like
rip any doors off of anything?
No, but like he can lift a car. We know he can lift a car.
Oh yeah,
over his head.
Yes,
but that's it. Like he's not throwing a car.
Sure.
So lifting a car, but can't throw it.
Okay,
you've got to say 14, 15 strength is fine there. Maybe 16 if you want to push higher stats. But he's not a fighter, so we don't need him to have this bulk strength. It's just more of a representation.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. So next one we see, so in the first movie, he is seen using a minimal amount of some sort of radio control, like some sort of remote control and things, but it's very minimal.
Sure.
So we were talking about potentially allowing that to be a mage hand of sorts, possibly?
Yes. And depending upon how many levels we want to go into Rogue, there is a subclass that Rogue gets that just gives them the mage hand cantrip,
so we just go like 3 levels,
and it's specifically invisible.
Perfect, because that would also, I think, go hand in hand with another ability that we talked about, which was his ability to basically recover unconsciousness. So this is going to be a couple different layers. So one, Warforged already get this, I believe, which I think he would get is I think it makes sense that he only has to take like 4 hours for a long rest, and I think Warforged get that, right?
The only ones that I know of that it's 4 hours are elves, but okay, maybe. I think it might be 6 because normally everybody else needs 8, so if they might only need 6.
But I do know that Warforged don't go fully unconscious when they rest.
That is true. They are aware of their surroundings, which
Johnny's known to do. So I think that goes right in line with the Warforged. But another thing about his unconscious recovery is there is a scene where he is forced shut down and thrown into the back of a car. We also see that he has a backup system that was allowing him to stay conscious and even partially move. Now in the movie, you see him only have head control. So he was able to look around, he used his eyelids, he knocked something over to power himself on, blah, blah, blah. But we could say that partially represents how the Warforged work. You're never fully unconscious. But if we give him this invisible mage hand and he gets control of it while he's unconscious, that gives him that quote unquote backup power mechanic that we kind of saw in the movie where he can wake himself up. So it goes hand in hand. I think both of those make sense.
Here's Century's Rest, which is the Warforged ability. When you take a long rest, you must spend at least 6 hours. So there's your shortened time period in an inactive, motionless state. So
which
that
is
means
exactly what we see him.
You're fully shut down. You're not moved. But it does not render you unconscious. You can see and hear as normal.
Yeah.
And because he's what he is, his head has got a 360 view. So wherever you're at, you can see 360. You just can't go investigate stuff.
Yeah, but if we also give him that invisible mage hand, that ties in with his ability to, with what we've seen him do. So I love that. I think that's fantastic. Cool. How would you... Another ability that we see him have in the movie is being able to speed read. Like, he can just consume. Is that something that we can really equate in D&D, or is it not something that we're going to bother with?
It's unfortunately another feat.
Okay.
It's the one I was talking to you about earlier. It's called, I finally found this, called Keen Mind.
Got you. Oh, wait, the last one. What were we just came up with? So Sleep is going to be from Warforged. And then what was the other thing we were talking about? Oh, the thief mage hand. The rogue mage hand. Okay, so yeah, so another feat for fast reading.
Yeah, it's called Keen Mind.
Okay, so what does that do?
And it's not specifically fast reading, but wait, where?
I'm just curious, is it even something that we have to equate? Like, is that something that's really a benefit to the character build, or is that just a unique quirk of the character that we see in the movie?
I mean, I will say stuff like, especially because after he reads something, it's almost like he's got perfect recall.
Exactly.
And that's where I feel like this feat comes in handy. It says, again, there's no real mechanic that is associated with this, but it says you can accurately recall anything you have seen or heard within the past month. You always know the number of hours left before sunset or sunrise, and you always know which way is north. So it's just basically some kind of like stock knowledge of like what's going on around you type deal. Like, you know, it's got an internal computer, it's got, you know, whatever else. Like that definitely gives me the vibes of Johnny Five.
Okay.
But
I
again,
like that. So if we have enough feats to do, we can definitely add that one.
Sure.
I like that. We did the okay. So we also know that he can self-repair, but is there a thing in 5th edition? Is there a thing where like the mending spell works on Warforged?
So not Warforged. Or
constructs. It works on constructs.
I swear there was like an alternate rule, like once a day a construct can receive a certain number of hit points from the mending spell. Because the mending spell is a cantrip, you can just spam the heck out of it to like heal somebody up to like max health. You get enough
to kind of like stabilize almost.
I know that you can use the mending cantrip on your mechanical ally. It's not a ranger.
Mechanical ally.
No, it is an artificer subclass. So there's an artificer subclass that gives you like a defender, and it's like a little dog, like a metal dog.
We talked about that.
Yes, and that you can use the mending cantrip on that, and it's considered a construct.
We did that when we did the artificer and the battlesmith.
Oh yeah. That's right. We looked at
the steel defender.
Yeah.
Well, that was from the battlesmith got the steel defender, but the artificer also got a similar one.
Yes.
Okay, so I like Keen Mind. Okay, and then the self-repair, yeah, unless there's anything else like that. I mean, that's just basic healing, I guess. I mean, anybody can. I mean, he has a little bit more self-repair, but I guess that could be part of the lore being Warforged.
The only thing that I would really say, and again, it's just more multi-classing, slightly unnecessary, but a single level dip into fighter would give you a second wind, which I feel like would be a cool application of just another way. But it's super, super small, and it's a whole level in another class. So yeah. I think it's a lot of commitment for not a lot of gain.
So yeah, the self-repair, because the self-repair and the self-upgrade kind of go hand in hand. It's like, that's just kind of what characters do anyway. And in Warforged, that's just what you can say you're doing. Sure. Physically upgrading your body. So I think both of those can just be more lore than they have to be mechanic.
Sure.
Let's see. So we talked about high charisma. Oh, so one thing we do see that he has, which I don't know how we're going to give him this without dipping into monk, but I do think we should give him deflect missile, because there was one point where I do believe he's seen catching something out of the air that was thrown at him. So there was a point in the movie where I remember seeing that, and I'm like, oh, that's basically deflect missile.
Which movie was that?
It was the first movie. This is still we're still in the first movie. Yeah. There was
the only time I remember is there was a dude that came over his shoulder and he caught like and then brought him over.
And then he brought him over. There was that one, but there was another scene where something came at him and then he caught it, and I'm just like, that's got to be deflect missile, because like it just reminded me of the monk doing that, like the idea that you could just take that and then like actually throw it back. But I don't know how you would do that without monk, because I don't think you can get deflect missiles without the monk.
And that's a significant dip. That's 3 levels in the monk,
and we're already going 3 into rogue just to get the mage hand.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I mean that's level 6. So if we do a 3-3-3 and he's only level 9, but that's who wants to have a tri character? Like 5th edition doesn't do tri characters very well.
But again, we're not here to make a super balanced 5th edition character. We're here to most accurately represent what Johnny 5 is. So
that's true.
Okay. If that's what's going to get us there, then it'll get us there. As long as there's not other things that we need, that having a higher level won't be helpful. Although I will say, unless you get to level 4, you're not getting an ASI. So we need at least level 4 and at least 2 of these classes to get 2 feats.
So we can get in level 12, maybe. We can get level 12, even level 4.
I would say, to be honest, when I finished watching the movies and whatever I watched of the second one, I was like, I can see you being like between 10 and maybe 15, but 15 seems like a lot.
10 to 14 sounds like a good range.
So 12 sounds really good to me.
So wait, what did he do in the movie that made me think of Deflect Missile? Because there was a point at which, because that was the one where they were fighting the military most of the time, but there was a point at which something happened, and I remember he did something that was like, and instantly I was just like, oh, that's Deflect Missile.
I'm trying to think, because I actually watched that full one.
What was it? Because he didn't really fight his other versions, right? He basically like snuck up on them, set traps for them.
So each one of them was different. One he caught, threw mud in his face. The other one, he did the little rope thing. And the last one, I forgot what exactly he did to the last one.
What was it?
I'm trying to think what other like significant fights occurred. Was there more combat in the second one than the first?
Technically, yeah. There was way more like aggression in the second one. Yeah, there was a scene where the dude, I think, throws, I want to say did he like throw like a crowbar or something at him, and then it just like, because I remember the scene was kind of cheesy, it looked like almost reverse image, but it was one of those ones where it was just like shit, like it was like so mechanical that it just goes right into his hand. But there is a moment where someone throws something at him and he's just like chink.
Was it possible maybe it was the boyfriend in the house? He comes in there, he grabs the gun, and
he throws the gun at him, and he grabs the gun. Isn't it when he grabs the gun and then bends it? Because he like after. So
there is somebody that holds a gun to his face.
No. He's shooting at him. He's holding a rock, and he just keeps deflecting the bullets.
Oh yes,
that's the scene. Thank you. It was the boyfriend. Yes.
Was that the boyfriend that was shooting at him?
Yes, because he has the rifle.
Oh yeah, he was outside.
So he has the rifle, and he's shooting him, and all he has is a rock. But he just like think, and then at one point I think he like ricochets it back with one of the. I thought maybe he didn't, but I remember him deflecting the bullets.
I definitely remember
and
that.
That's what made me feel like Deflect Missile, because what else is that? Because the monk can just not take the damage, but very rarely can throw it back, right? Like, isn't that the whole thing? Is like
that's the mechanic. It's the theory is it's like if an arrow comes at you, you're catching it, but like it could potentially like still pierce you, just not as deep.
Gotcha.
Right? So like I stop some of the damage, just not all. But if I do stop all of the damage and I take 0, then I can throw it back.
Because you don't actually get hit and you use the momentum. So we don't have to go Deflect Missile, but that was the scene I was thinking.
Okay.
Is the fact that he was able to use a single, because it was just a tiny little rock, but the fact that he was able to look at the gun and just go like, think that's where you're going. It felt very like if you're going to point an arrow at him, he's just going to be like, go ahead, I got it. You know what I mean? Like,
so weirdly enough, that points to a higher dexterity, and
I agree.
And as a result, like my instinct on that front is to articulate it as a higher armor class, right? He's harder to hit type deal. And a lot of the times, when someone misses you, it's not that they missed you, it's that either you dodged out of the way or it ricocheted off your armor or whatever the case may be. So like, I feel like that's a good articulation of what's happening here. And he already has some integrated protection being a Warforged.
So let's take away deflect missile, and we'll just say that was really good AC, because he didn't really shoot it back as much as he was just able to deflect it or defend it. He was able to miss. Okay, that actually makes this easier. We can stick with just the rogue build at this point. And then he doesn't really have any like navigation, but I don't mind him knowing which way is north. That kind of makes the most sense with the other feat that we gave him, which was Keen Mind. And then he does have, and I don't know how we would put this, but I felt like at the very end, he does have like danger sense. Like he kind of knows like the situation. He kind of know, I don't know if there's another feat or another thing, but like, remember like they were inside, he knows when like people are like coming in, not just the robots, but like he knows when they're like gonna come in. He knew when they were gonna like, it was gonna be too late. He knew when to throw out the machine. Like there was just things where it's like, he seems to know his surroundings really well. I don't know if we can represent that, but my first instinct was something like danger sense. And I thought there was like a feat where you like can't get surprised. Like you can't be like surprised of opportunity.
There is a feat that prevents you from being surprised.
Maybe that that could be it technically, but he also gets surprised in the movie. Like we see him get like, startled.
Yeah.
So that may not work. And again, not all of these notes have to equate to something. Just, as I'm watching the movie, I'm like,
I would say I feel like the way I would represent that is kind of integrated with his high wisdom. Gotcha. Right, because a lot of the things is like, hey, I'm kind of aware of my surroundings enough to know when to lay low, to know when to come up with a plan, to know when to do these different things. So that's I do see what you're saying with that, and I agree that should get a little bit of info, but
okay. So that's all I had for number 5. From the first movie. That's all I got.
Let me look if I have any,
and that's mostly chronologically
different notes,
because I just kept taking notes as I watched the movie.
Right.
So that's pretty much, if you watch the movie, you could probably guess what scene I picked out most of these from.
I wish there was something that gave ooh, is that a background? Because I want something that kind of represents the mimicry that he can do, because I think that's pretty cool.
So the mimicry, I think you actually don't see the voice mimicry until the second movie. Like him actually repeating someone's voice, you don't see.
Well,
in the second movie.
I'll say he does it a lot with like the TVs and stuff like that. So like a lot, not like people necessarily, but I've seen him like he'll change his voice to sound like one of like the TV
he'll be
announcers.
A character, yeah. But in the second movie, he's actually shown to record and play back
very much
those
so,
noises.
very much so. But like, I think that this could be described as what do you call it?
Because I know there's ventriloquism. There in second edition, there is a proficiency that allows you. There's ventriloquism that you can throw your voice. And then there's another ability that actually you can take a proficiency that allows you to mimic someone else's voice. There's actually an ability for that. I just don't know if 5th edition has an equal version of that.
There's something where you can basically like observe somebody for a certain period of time, and then you can replicate enough. It's in my brain somewhere.
Because that goes along with why you want a disguise kit, because you could basically become someone with enough.
Sure.
I remember that as well. So yeah, I don't know how to do voice mimicry, but that would be, if there was an actual feat for it, I agree, that would be kind of nice.
Sure.
Like voice alteration or something like that. And maybe that's just something that you have to talk to your demon about. Like, can I just change my voice? Yeah, he does do that. You mentioned background. We don't think about backgrounds much.
It's mostly because everything that we're doing is for the mechanical purposes and not really for the lore purposes. So like,
I guess backgrounds don't give enough.
Unless the background gives you like a specific proficiency that we're not going to get otherwise. Maybe what about proficiencies? Like if we're looking at number 1, let's look at
Ranger. It just depends on what kind of proficiencies backgrounds give. Would matter if it because we have everything now. So I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. So like what type of skills do you think this character would be proficient in? Because as a ranger, you have the choice of animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, survival.
So that would probably be like perception or investigation, because he's doing both that. But this first build, we don't necessarily need the ranger, because it could also be artificer rogue. Remember?
It could be
because at this point, as long as we're taking sharpshooter and crossbow expert, we don't need ranger.
It's true.
Like, the only reason I thought ranger is because he had benefits to targeting and he had a laser weapon.
Sure.
But if we go artificer rogue, that covers it, because artificer can do ranged combat, and those 2 feats basically cover it. So we can just do a warforged artificer rogue and not bother with ranger at all.
Okay.
Because ranger, that was the only thing and the only other thing was a vibe check, right? Like, Johnny does seem to be the one that just wants to be left alone to read a book.
Sure.
That's kind of what a ranger is, but that's also an artificer. He also just wants knowledge. Artificer just wants to learn. So really, we can just drop ranger altogether. He doesn't need to be a ranger. That was just me taking a stretch, because
I totally feel that. So it's similar for an artificer. It's arcana, history, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, and sleight of hand.
So it would be the same. It would be the same ones. It would probably be like survival, perception, investigation. Those would all make the most sense for him, because again, he doesn't know a lot, but he can handle his own depending on what orders he has, right? Like, if he knows what he needs to do, he'll do it.
Sure.
It's just it's knowing that he needs to do those things. So perception, investigation, and survival are probably his top 3, because he's really good at analyzing what's in front of him.
Sure.
And I think all of those help an artificer too. So those are all great. What kind of, do you know any backgrounds off the top of your head that would fit this build specifically? Because I mean, like lore wise, it'd be like soldier or something else like that, but he's not. I mean, he kind of is a diplomat, but not really. He's not really an urchin, like a city urchin or a street urchin. He's not really I guess like a town guard, because he is technically wasn't a full military thing, but he also was built to defend, and now he's gone. Now he's out. So he's technically like kind of like a veteran who doesn't want to fight anymore. You could, I don't know if that background gives us anything. Because at that point, again, maybe this is just something the player can choose.
Like, unless you want to choose something like urchin or there's one. This is where it started with an S. Sage. It's kind of like you're like a hermit type deal.
Does it give you anything?
Not really.
I mean, Sage makes the most sense.
Arcana and history.
I mean, history, yeah. Because he reads, so that's all he gets is, nah. I guess we'll just let the people choose that, because I don't think we did backgrounds for any of the other builds.
I swear we did it for our first one just because of something it gave us was relevant.
Okay.
But I truly don't remember what it was.
That's cool. I'm not thinking of anything off the top of my head. So all right, so are we good for the first movie then? Is that good for the number 5 build?
I think that does it a really good job. Does it justice.
Okay, that might. So yeah, I think that could easily take us to level 10, maybe level 12. We'll try to do Johnny 5 from the second movie. See if there's enough difference to justify 2 builds, or just options. Just like, hey, depending on which version of Johnny 5 you liked the most, you either choose the number or the Johnny.
Sure.
For the outlook. So yeah, we'll figure out after we build it how we want to make it representative. But all right, so from the second movie, you didn't get a chance to recently watch this one, though.
I have not. Not. I watched a bunch of clips from it, so I know about it. I know roughly the plot.
As long as you've seen most of what he's done, then none of this. There's actually less that he does in this, but a couple of the repeats, right? So the first thing we see in Johnny 5 after we see him displayed is that he has the new multi-tool box that replaced his laser, which is why that's the biggest thing of why we felt like there might be 2 builds, mainly because he does technically completely remove the laser.
Yes.
But if we're making him an artificer.
And on that same note, did we ever talk about in the first one his parachute?
Oh, no. I don't know how we missed that.
Yeah.
So technically, He does have a parachute, so we were going to consider that being having Featherfall.
Yes, and Artificer, that's one of their spells anyways.
Done. So yeah, we'll put that. Let me actually go back. I don't know how we missed that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because I was like, one of the biggest differences was what they replace it with. Because instead of having a parachute, it's a what's the new one?
It's a hang glider.
Yeah.
The parachute. Featherfall. So yeah, so because like the Featherfall or the parachute change and the laser change, but then again, the laser is just a visual thing. If it's still gonna be the Artificer with a crossbow, whatever. But you know, the Featherfall thing, but a lot of people get new spells but keep their old spells, right? So that's kind of also one of those ones that's hard to take away that without making it feel weird. But yeah,
so
that's again, if we want to be true to form,
an interesting solution for that. But
yeah, if we want to stay true to form, we can make two different builds, or we can try to figure out a way to make it make sense to a level 20. But we'll see if it works that way. So in this one, we have the multi-tool on his back. It replaces his laser. We know that has a couple different things that we'll get to. But as of right now, we just know he drops the laser and the parachute for the glider. Yes. So in this new version, for sure, what we know is that he has a hang glider. So he has the glide ability. How we get that across?
I would say my favorite way to do that is with the levitate spell. Okay. Because it's a second level spell, if I'm not mistaken, and it's not full fly where you can go up, down, do whatever you want. It's more just you're levitating and you can.
But if you have momentum, yes, you can use it, which is exactly what this is, because he just jumps off a cliff and base jumps. Perfect. So, and that doesn't have to replace the Featherfall, even though in the movie, because technically we don't see that he doesn't have a parachute. We just don't see him use it.
Very true.
So again, you can, and D&D doesn't like taking things away. So there's nothing that says that if you want both of these together, again, we'll keep them as two separate builds because we see them differently.
And I actually have a very cool, like, lightweight lore way to explain it too when we get there. But
okay.
For the way to put all this stuff together.
All right. So other than that, so in his toolbox, we do see that in his toolbox, one of the features that he has in it is a portable Polaroid camera.
Okay.
It's a little camera that pops out, like he's just walking, or he's just driving down the streets of New York, and he just sees something. So his little toolbox pops up, and a Polaroid camera comes out, and he just takes a picture of some random people, and then while he's just rolling along. So I was thinking that kind of equates to photo memory, right?
Okay.
Like photographic memory, which goes right back to keen mind. So this build, would have a keen mind. So again, there's going to be a lot of overlap, which is why I'm going to find it hard to make two different builds when
that was my
there's only two tiny things changed. But maybe not. So the next one, so he technically has extra storage, but there's no real way to like equate that to a character mechanic outside of giving him like a bag of holding. So that really doesn't matter.
Unless you want to say something like what do they call them? The Goliaths. They say they count as one size larger when it comes to how much they can carry. Now, again, that has a lot more to do with their strength and their stature, and this is not really that. And I don't really think we're going to try and change their race.
Now, granted, in the second movie, someone does ride him. Like, they get on the back and use him like a motorcycle.
Yes.
So that might not be the worst thing, because he technically can carry a full-ass human and just at full speed.
No, yeah. There's no penalties specifically because... But like, yeah.
What was that? What was it? It was a feat?
That is a racial ability.
Oh, that's a racial.
That's
not going to matter.
You would have to change his race to do that.
We're not doing all of that. Okay, so there is no mimicry. The spell. So what about the mimicry spell? Because
I have not heard of that.
It's on D&D tools. I don't know if it's an actual 5th edition spell.
Let me see if I can find it in my.
Sound mimicry, voice mimicry proficiency. That was, again, an earlier edition. I don't think 5th edition has that.
I'm not seeing anything on my list that shows mimicry.
This shows it.
Does it have a reference?
Assassin and bard level spell. Complete Scoundrel source book. It must be, yeah, it must be a secondary source book.
Yeah.
Complete Scoundrel, fair fights are for suckers, blah blah blah. This D&D supplement gives you.
Is it from Wizards?
Find out. Oh, 3.5. It was a 3.5 book.
Oh, it's a 3.5 spell.
Yeah. So
Wild.
technically,
Okay.
still not in 5th edition, which is unfortunate.
I mean, I totally think it should be a spell.
Right? Ooh. What about the actor feat?
Okay. That might have been what I was thinking of earlier.
That's the one that I think you can mimic other voices, and I think that's what we're looking for.
I think because when I was talking about like Kenku stuff,
Oh,
like
Kenku's mimicry ability.
yeah, but that's a race.
Oh, that's
That's
okay.
that's an entire
So look at
race.
the actor feat. Let's see if we can get that, because the actor feat works the way that this is saying it does. If you can find a reference in your material.
You have advantage on charisma, deception / performance checks to try and pass yourself off as a different person. You can mimic the speech of another person or the sounds made by other creatures. You must have heard the person. This is what I was talking about. You must have heard the person speaking or heard the creature make the sound for at least 1 minute. That was the observing thing that I was talking about.
I think that's it. That's gonna be it, definitely, for the second build for sure. I think we have enough feats on the first one, but in the second movie, he is shown to, like, one of the first things he does when he gets there is he replays a voice recording of his friend from the first movie.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be perfect.
I found out in watching the weird stuff that I was watching, the only reason that she wasn't in that movie is because she was too expensive for them. Like,
oh yeah,
her as an actress, like, they would have been too much money. And the dude, he actually regrets because they wanted him to be in it, and he was like, no, I'm not going to do it, because they didn't have like a script already written out for him or whatever.
Yeah,
so
he passed early.
He passed early, and so now looking back on it, he's like, man, I really wish I was in that movie.
But honestly, like, it's one of those things where could it have worked with the like it almost had a charm that they kind of lost those two. Like, they kind of, went off and had their own life in Montana.
Sure.
Like, because that was the whole thing, is they lived in Montana.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like they didn't say anything more than my friends live in Montana with Johnny Five, and it's like, did they hook up? Like, there was a kind of cuteness of they ran away from the military and they just kind of lived happily ever after on a farm.
It's weird that they ran away from the military to hide Johnny Five, and yet when they send Johnny Five, they're like, all we can do is send Johnny Five. We can't come ourselves. It's like, are you worried about them finding you? Or are you worried about them finding Johnny?
Yeah, that's Hydrate.
Whatever.
Thank you, Hecate. Hydrate and a posture check.
Much appreciated.
So yeah, it's wild. It's a wild story. I still think it holds up, but it's a wild story. If you can,
no, I love it.
Definitely watch the second one. I had to buy the first one, which I'm not upset about because it's the better of the two. But
did you? I watched it for free for that link I sent you.
Oh, I just ended up buying it on Prime.
Amazon.
But I can only rent it, the second one.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, whatever. But yeah, by far the first one's the best.
For sure.
Okay,
for sure.
So we got voice mimicry taken care of. This is where there was a scene in the movie where he goes into a store and tries to disguise himself as human and puts on a bunch of clothes. It doesn't work, obviously.
Sure.
But I think we were jokingly saying that he should have a disguise kit. But I don't. It's campy. It's a joke. But I don't.
That you can get from a background.
Yeah, but
you can get from a background.
But it's not really. That's not what we do here, right? Like, your gear is not it. That was more of, I think, a campy joke. Because it is a joke even in the movie where no one buys it, but
like the kids from the Little Rascals all stacked on top of each other. Like, wait, who are you fooling?
All right, so in this particular movie, he has a lot more radio control. So he is controlling remote control airplanes from a very far distance, and he is sending messages. So we already kind of gave him previously the mage hand, but that doesn't really fall into this one. I don't know how we would represent like the remote controls, but going to the scene where he's talking to his buddy, he basically has a radio control that he's able to take control of like a billboard and show text. And then he has a directional microphone that he can pick up what his buddy's saying from across the street, right? So in my mind, I thought about the message spell, where you can send and receive messages one-on-one, one-to-one. And I felt like that kind of makes sense for this. But I don't know how to do the radio control thing.
So
like the airplane thing, because I was suggesting we do animate object, because he's also seen animating like robots. He's also seen taking over a car and letting he can mess with the seats and the horn and everything. So I considered animate object because it was the closest thing that represents what he does, which is literally make things come to life. In the movie, of course, it's only electronic things, right?
Sure.
But that was the only thing I think. Hecate says unseen servant.
Unseen servant, yes, but you wouldn't be able to do the same thing. Like, I feel like unseen servant is good for operating certain things, like on the ground level, but unseen servant can't fly, can it?
No, and even like, but I mean, mage hand, but like he uses the.
I was honestly thinking telekinesis if it were a lower level spell.
If it were a lower level spell, yeah, because he is seen using the remote control planes to attack. So animate objects, yes. You could technically do that. You could animate something and have it attack for you. It wouldn't be any damage, but like it's still weird when a couch tries to kick you.
I mean, if you wanna do like a basic version, because basically all he did was throw it at him.
Exactly, and
that catapult spell. That's a first level spell that an artificer would have. Like, you could articulate what he was doing in that particular scene with that that version of it. And so
how would you like, again, like when he controls like other, when he controls anything that's like electronic, like is animate object like what kind of spell is that? Like is that
animate object is a very high level spell.
Okay, so we don't
I think it's higher than telekinesis. Hold on, let me look.
Okay, if it's that high, we don't need to bother because we don't know how high of a spell he's even going to get. So
it's the same level as telekinesis.
Okay, so
it's a 5th level spell.
So we can make sure that for we can give him catapult. I don't mind that.
And I would say that the other times where he's controlling something, like something electronical, like the I mean, he doesn't actually control the crane, but like the crane, for instance, his mage hand could just be using the controls on the thing. So like if there's something else that he's using or he's activating, his invisible hand is just.
So should this version also have the invisible hand? Because we haven't given this one the invisible hand yet.
I kind of think so. I think also Unseen Servant would do a very similar thing.
So let's do this. Let's give this one Unseen Servant.
And Unseen Servant is easily an artificer spell.
Perfect. Okay. So in the previous one you get Mage Hand, and this one you get Unseen Servant. So again, a little bit of a variety unless we decide that this is all one build. Sure. I kind of also dig having like the two different versions depending on which is your favorite movie, because maybe that's the whole deal, right? You want to be the one that, you remember from your childhood.
Sure. Right.
And he also, so again, this one comes down to the self-repair, some sort of mending or heal spell, but that can be easily just giving him a heal spell, right? So I don't think we have to go anything crazy with that this round. He is seen in the movie. One of the replacements that he has in his toolbox is a plunger on a rope. He's seen grabbing the back of a taxi cab. He plungers the backs of a taxi cab, stops it while it's mid-driving, and then drags it backwards while its wheels are burning out on the concrete. As in, it was going 35 miles an hour. He went stop and then come here while its tires are squealing, and it brought it to a complete stop. So that's obviously some sort of lasso grappling hook situation, because you don't have a plunger in deep, but lasso or grappling hook were the first two things, because that's exactly what he did with it. We don't need to bother with like how strong it is, but he is also seen using the same thing to go upward. Like he's, grabs something and then lifts himself
when he
up.
goes on to the dude with the boat.
He goes on to do with the boat, he does it in a tree. On a different scene with the same guy, he lifts the same guy up into a tree before he gets attacked. So a grappling hook makes the most sense.
Yes, but again, I feel like that falls again into the category of
of equipment rather than the character themselves. So the biggest thing for that would be, I would say that is his largest strength feat.
So
unless we're equating that to him like digging his stuff into the ground or whatever.
So it's more like, yeah, I guess you could just call that part of his gear. Heavy. But then the other option is there a feat that allows you to do things with, say, a rope or a grapple hook or a whip that you can't normally do, right? Like, is there anything that makes sense to say that would make sense for the character to need a grapple hook to, in order to benefit from an ability? I don't think there is.
I swear there was something called like Whip Expert or something like that, where you could use it to grab onto something, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, so maybe we don't have to turn that into an ability. I just, because again, that's the only thing he does with it is that,
sure.
and then swings, which anybody can have a whip or a grappling hook.
And I think an artificer would do a great job of like, and you could even theoretically say he's using the catapult spell to throw his.
And we give him the catapult spell to guarantee that he hits his target. So yeah, we can just not bother with that. Okay, so another thing that he has that he's seen doing in the second movie is digging/burrowing. He's digging like a little mine shaft through just dirt and not solid rock, but dirt. I don't know how we could possibly equate that to anything. Now, later in the movie, he is seen chasing people and decides, I'm going to cut them off, decides to go into the sewer and cut them off. So any kind of subterranean tracking or subterranean navigation, if that's an option for the edition, we should add that, because he is seen using underground to navigate. I know there are some races that allow you to like burrow and like go underground and stuff. Creatures can do it.
I know creatures can. I haven't seen any races that can.
I could have sworn there was one race that maybe it was a custom race that we reviewed.
That's probably possible, because I think that should be used a lot more often.
Now, we could also just give him another spell, which is, what is that? Transmute stone to mud, or excavate, this excavate spell. Isn't that a spell, right? Excavate, you get like a 10 by 10 piece of dirt.
There's a cantrip called Mold Earth that I feel like would be...
Ooh, because he does it with his hands. So he is literally just scraping the wall away.
Is he really?
In the movie, that's all he does, is he just uses his bare hands to scrape the wall away. Because Mold Earth is basically that, right? You get to basically like move it.
Basically, it's like you dug a grave, but instantly.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what Mold Earth is.
Okay, so we can give him Mold Earth as kind of like another spell.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty basic. I mean, again, we're basically just making a spell list at this point. But these are all the spells you would want to have if you want to be able to do what he can do. He's also seen with a plasma cutter. So he was able to cut through at least 12 inches of solid steel. Like a wall. And he made basically a doorway out of it with little tiny plasma cutter. So I don't know.
It's too high of a level. It's too high of a level, but there's this spell that basically allows you could make your own little doorway in a stone wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember that spell.
Gosh.
What is investiture? Investiture of stone?
Is
that like another, like for digging and all that? Is that for being able to like excavate?
Does it give you a burrow speed?
Because if it's a burrow speed, that would be even better.
You have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. You can use your action to create a small earthquake in the ground, 15-foot radius. You can move across difficult terrain made of earth or stone without spending any extra movement. You can move through solid earth or stone as if it were air without destabilizing it. But you can't end your turn or your movement there. So basically you can just move through solid
Yeah, I think
stone and
I think I
dirt.
like the mold earth more, just because it goes more with what he was actually doing, which is actually physically moving.
Also,
earth.
that is a 6th level spell.
Okay. What was the one that you were thinking of?
I don't remember the name of that spell. Hold
What
on.
does it do?
It basically creates, you can make a doorway or a pathway or an opening
right.
in, is it stone shape? You touch a stone object, medium size or smaller.
Oh, stone shape spell.
No, it's not that one. Wait.
stone shape.
Or
You
make
touch
a small passageway through a wall. Yeah.
Yeah, stone shape.
It's a 4th level spell that artificers do get, but
Boom.
the question is, when do artificers get it?
Well, he's gonna be a primary artificer, so as long as it's before level 15,
Well,
like as long as it's early enough on.
table.
He doesn't polymorph in the movie. We can't justify him, changing shapes if he doesn't do it in the movie.
You get 4th level spells, and theoretically, you get, well, that's not till level 17. You get 4th level spells at level 13. It's pushing it.
That would be a
pushing it.
level 16 minimum if we really want that mage hand from the rogue. If we really want specifically mage hand from rogue. Just because it's invisible. That's the only reason we wanted to go 13 in rogue. The only other reason was just to get stealth.
I would say this. If we go this route to get Investiture of Stone to operate as that plasma cutter, I would do a separate build, one with rogue, one without.
Well,
because
wait, hold on.
That's how I.
No, rogue was the first one. No,
Rogue was the first one.
Oh no. So yeah, we don't have to do rogue in
if
this.
we don't want rogue, if we don't care about,
and you know what we can do? We can give.
You did theoretically say he was slower in the second movie.
He was not only slower, but the only rogue thing that he does in the second movie is pick locks, and because he doesn't even do that much stealth in the second movie.
Sure,
it's only the pick locks.
And you can get your thieves tools from your right tool for the job as an artificer.
Oh, that's right. So yeah. So okay. So
and you're proficient with whatever those tools are.
So lock picks, artificer, right? Tool for job.
So it's mostly just the speed you're missing out on when it comes to the rogue and the mage hand. But
he doesn't really use any. I mean, we have unseen servant in this build, and he doesn't have the speed in this build, so we don't need the rogue at all in this build. Yeah, no, okay, so the only other thing is the subterranean navigation,
which I was thinking about it. It's just not really a thing that exists in D&D unless you're just going to say you're good at survival. Like,
yeah,
and
then the only other option is the one other thing that he did in the second movie was the spectrum analyzer. He was able to track a car by its tires. He could just look at the ground and he was able to analyze the tire tracks, and then he followed them all over town.
And again, the best way that I would articulate that in D&D 5e is favorite enemy from a ranger.
Gotcha. But
but
we're really not doing that anyway. And that was only the one scene where it was one car, and it's like, okay, well, if you just have tracking, then because there are still tracking feats, right? Like, well, I guess not. I guess it's
not feats, but I will say, what's the Hunter's Mark? Hunter's Mark is a spell, and Hunter's Mark will allow you to specifically track something that you've marked.
Right.
And
so we can even give him that one.
That you could get that from a lot of different things. And I don't know if artificers specifically have access to it, but it's possible.
Okay. So we have enough here to build 2 different out. So I'm trying to do a little bit of mental gymnastics here, because we're going on 2.5 hours. It is 9:30 already, and we have our subathon tomorrow. Not super early, but I still have to prep the back room tonight,
move some stuff,
and dial it in tomorrow, and then might need to go do some shopping tomorrow morning. So we have all of the info that we need. We've discussed all of the things, and we've even discussed primarily what the equation is. We just haven't put it into we just haven't done the nitty gritty of these are all from Artificer, these are all from Rogue just yet. So we can try to knock that out.
I would say,
or do you think we have enough to do the write-ups, and should we just call it here and then you can produce the write-ups?
So two questions that I have. One is, with what we have, I can see a path to us creating one overall build for both of these.
Okay.
Either the Rogue way or the full Artificer way.
Gotcha.
Like, we would take small sacrifices on either side to do that, but again, it would just end up being, and here's what I was going to say, because you only need at least a 3rd level Artificer, because the subclass of Artificer that I'm going to say is going to be valuable is the Armorer subclass, which allows you to create 2 different sets of armor that you have and that you can use. And the 2 different sets of armor would be the first movie and the second movie. Because the first movie, one of the sets is you're a little bit faster, and your weapon that's integrated into this piece of armor is a laser, right?
Okay.
The other one is a melee weapon. It's like a gauntlet that you have that does like melee damage. And so I found him in the second movie doing a lot more hand-to-hand combat.
There was no ranged.
And so like you could separate those two, as it's like, all right, these are the upgrades that I have. I no longer have this laser on my shoulder. Okay. Now I have this.
So if we were to go that route and take it with armor, so the sharpshooter, crossbow expert feat. So
all those feats would apply to your integrated weapon that you would have. That integrated ranged weapon, and you get to use your ability modifier instead of your dexterity on that weapon.
So it would take care of the expert. You said it would take care of the speed. We already have the Omni tool lockpick from the Artificer, which is fine. Featherfall is still from Artificer. The stats doesn't matter. That's for spells.
Oh no, that's I think that was supposed to be sleep.
Oh, that's right.
That was supposed to be sleep.
The sleep. Yeah, so sleep from Warforged, because that's the race. Mage Hand we don't need though anymore, right?
We could theoretically make Unseen Servant on both builds.
Oh yeah, that's right. We don't need,
because it's still Artificer.
And realistically, the Unseen Servant is an extrapolation. It's really not necessary.
It's just an invisible way to do things from far away.
Yeah, and that's the remote control. And then the basic knowledge, Keen Mind. So that one I think was also on this other one, right? So we have the Levitate spell, which is Artificer, the Photo Memory, which is Keen Mind, which we already have. The actor feat. So we have a lot of feats, but if we're going to go full level 20 build, we'll have enough feats for all of these. We just won't have any ASIs.
Level 20. I was thinking more like level 13, like we were talking about.
The smallest level to get everything.
Sure.
Yeah. But then we have the message, which is a spell, the actor feat, Unseen Servant, Catapult, which is a spell, the grapple hook, which is an art. We're not going to worry about the grapple hook because that's a piece of equipment. Mold Earth is a spell, Stone Shape is a spell, the Artificer right tool for the job is the lockpick. Actually, yeah, we don't need a rogue. All we need is Artificer.
You get 3 ASIs for level 13 Artificer.
So we have Keen Mind.
Yep.
Actor.
Yep.
And
we can choose Sharpshooter or Crossbow Expert. If you want both of those.
Okay, so remind me which. Okay, so
Sharpshooter is the one that gives you the ability to
target around cover,
partial cover,
and you do more damage at sacrifice of accuracy.
That's correct. And you get no disadvantage at long range.
Right. Okay.
Crossbow Expert allows you to reload for free. It allows you to make a second shot with your bonus action, and it doesn't give you disadvantage at close range when you're within melee.
Crossbow Expert. If we choose one, it's Crossbow Expert 100%.
Okay.
Because technically he's not ever really seen hitting someone behind cover.
Sure.
But he is seen using it at close distance, a laser at close distance. We're never see him push his distance, right? It's always well within it. I think it has to be the crossbow expert. Yeah. So if that's the case, yeah, we could just do. So how does that work? Explain how the two armors work.
So.
Because I was worried. I'm like, how are we going to equate these? But I'm like, realistically, it's the same personality and it's the same feats. Like most of this is overlapping. You're right. It really was just the speed and the ranged attack. Those are the two things that are really the biggest issue.
So you have armor model. At 3rd level, you can customize your arcane armor. You have the guardian and the infiltrator. Each of these models includes special weapons. And you can add your intelligence modifier instead of your strength or dexterity to the attack and damage rolls. So that's just basically saying you don't have to use your strength, you don't have to use your dexterity, you can use your intelligence. But that's because artificers are intelligence based.
Gotcha.
Then you can change the armor's model whenever you finish a long rest. So
literally every day you can switch.
You can switch back and forth. You can switch back and forth whenever you feel like it, but canonically we're saying he went so long with one armor model and then like shifted over to the other.
Gotcha. I mean, in game, the player will be able to switch between them, but the point being is like essentially this is one build to either be Johnny 5 or number 5, but within the D&D rule sets, you can switch freely. Well, not freely, but you could switch every day.
Yes.
I like that.
It's a short or long rest, so you can switch throughout the day too.
And you know what's funny? Is we keep talking about how we're going to talk about like the mending, the self upgrades. That's how he changes every long rest. He takes his long rest to like disassemble and reassemble himself. Okay. Okay. I like that. Actually, that feels better because we don't have to do anything else. It's one build. There's everything overlapping with it. And I don't have to rewrite anything because we just talked about everything. So that's really it then. We have it. We have an artificer with so what's the subclass called?
It is called the armorer.
Okay, so let me at least pull that part up. So let me go here and go boom. Hello? Okay, so I don't need the right side. Okay, so real quick, we know we are gonna do a artificer. What do you think the minimum level we're gonna need to get all of this? At least 14 or 13, you said minimum?
13 gives us 4th level spells, which gives us that that spell that we were just talking about. I think
by that point we have enough feats. We get all of the feats that we need. We get the 4 feats.
We get 3 feats.
Oh yeah,
which is what we were talking about.
Keen Mind, crossbow expert, and
actor.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so level 13. We have a Warforged.
Yes.
So actually I should do a Warforged Artificer. Number 25.
You can put armorer artificer if you want, or parentheses afterwards or whatever.
Okay, armor, level 13. All right. And then feats, we are taking Keen Mind, crossbow expert, and you just said it. Actor.
Yes.
And then spells. So spells that we want to specifically have are
mending,
catapult, mending.
Catapult's 1st level, mending's cantrip. That's relevant.
Mold earth, stone shape, and investiture.
Yeah, well, I think stone shape. Was it stone shape?
Stone shape was the doorway.
Oh,
giving you the doorway, yeah. And then investiture of stone was what was investiture of stone?
I think that was the first idea for the doorway, but then
Oh yeah, because that was where you passed through, right? Wait, why did I put? Because I put down both. I put down stone shape and investiture of stone.
You can move across difficult terrain.
Okay, so it's just the stone shape. The stone shape was the one that made the doorway.
Yeah.
Okay, so stone shape, mold earth. Right tool for the job is just part of the artificer build.
Oh, also investiture of stone was too high a level. That was 6th level, and we can't even cast that.
Unseen servant.
Unseen servant, yes.
And
you can even put mage hand on there. It'll be visible, but like it still lets you do the things.
I mean, yeah, if you really want it on there. And then was there anything from the other one?
Levitate.
Feather fall and levitate. Yep. Okay, feather fall and levitate. And then, okay, that's all of that. And then we're just gonna go back up here. Armor subclass level 13. So we're gonna say a strength of 12. So it's above standard, but he doesn't, I mean, realistically, other than lifting a car, he doesn't do like anything major.
Yes.
So 13, 14, something like that, maybe.
I'm not mad at 15 in strength, especially if Warforged gets it to a 16, because I feel like 16 would feel like it represents.
Okay. And then dexterity we knew doesn't need to be very high, so maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah, 10
I mean,
or
he
11.
does technically have more finite movement than most people. He's just not very acrobatic. So he's not doing flips and jumps, but in sense of like his hand and eye coordination is off the charts, right?
I mean, if you want to represent a lot of his strength feats through his dexterity, like I feel like that's possible. Like even his AC would be
I mean, it's more the other way around.
his...
It's more like it should be strength based, right? Like he's physically strong. Like he has such a high dexterity because he can, or he has a high AC because he can take a hit, right? He's made out of metal. Like because in the movie he just takes a beating because he can. Like he has no pain receptor.
Sure.
So it's more like, how do we justify that he has a higher strength over dex? Because the biggest problem is like he can't do anything dexteritous, but a lot of the things we want him to do rely on the mechanic of dexterity.
Yes.
So I don't mind. It doesn't need to be below 10. I just don't want it to be uber high. So like, would 11 or a 12 still be worth it?
I would say 11 and 12. Yeah,
We'll give him 12 at least to get the +1.
Yeah, +1. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right.
Especially because most of their AC is going to be coming from their race, anyways. Constitution.
Constitution's the one we didn't think about. This has to be. I mean, you could justify it's off the charts, but at the same time, he's like a warforged. So I mean,
I will say this: he gets damaged a lot. Constitution is usually your hit points.
Yes,
and so like I would say he gets fairly close to death by just 2 dudes beating on him.
Yeah, so
right?
his Constitution's probably
it doesn't have to be crazy high. Like
and Constitution doesn't really in 5th edition doesn't really deal with like disease and poison anymore. Does
I
it?
mean, it helps for saving throws when it comes to those things.
But warforged are already immune, aren't they?
Theoretically,
Oh, yeah.
for most of those things.
So let's give him a 10. That'll be his dump stat. Or do you want to give him a 9 or an 8? Because he is kind of fragile for as beefy as he is with an AC based on his strength. He is still very fragile. That is like, so maybe charisma or constitution's his dump stat, because we need the balance, right? If you're going to justify a couple good double digits, you have to have one single. So I don't mind giving him an 8. A little bit of it. I mean, that's really his worst case. If you don't have to worry about poison and disease, it's really just a hit to his AC, or I mean his HP.
Yeah.
And we know, and even in the first movie, he has to charge. We already know that he can easily deplete just by living. Like he just dies just by being alive. So
I mean, everybody needs to rest, or else they're gonna eventually die.
But like other people will just get exhausted and pass out. He'll die if he just doesn't recharge, right?
Sure.
So I don't mind the Constitution. I think that's actually a decent balance. We did say intelligence under wisdom, so maybe a 12 intelligence and a 16 wisdom. Gives him still some casting ability.
I do remember you brought up the idea of having basically switching it for the different movies, you know? And so with the single build and with the build being a intelligence based build theoretically. Again, we could swap it and just say it's wisdom based.
I mean, but again, we also have to recognize that that's our own extrapolation. D&D does not treat wisdom and intelligence the same way we think
This
of
is true.
wisdom and intelligence. It does not necessarily, I mean,
Which is why I
game
feel like the
mechanic-
flexibility is fair.
Right. The game mechanic does not say wisdom is common sense and intelligence it's book smarts. It is
Yes.
quite literally just about spellcasting, languages.
And so I think that, especially because we were talking about his dexterity being how he does most of his ranged attacks, but specifically with this subclass, you can use your spellcasting class. So then, as long as your intelligence is higher than your dexterity, you're going to be getting more out of your ranged attacks than anything else.
Okay, so how about a 16 intelligence and
I don't even mind an
18?
Yeah.
Okay, 18 intelligence, maybe a 12 wisdom then? Because we don't really need wisdom to be anything.
Sure. Yeah.
And then charisma can also be like a 16. Or do we need that to be a 14? Trying to
No,
figure out the balance here.
I'll say
He definitely needs to have a high charisma for sure, but we already have a 15 strength. a 12.
I'd be willing to put the strength down to 14 to make the charisma a 16 if that feels better.
I think that because you also said artificer can bump up strength, and technically, I guess if you pass,
I was actually going to check to see if not artificer but warforged, because you get racial additions, and I want to go check.
And if you really want to, you could just put the 2 in strength when you choose that race, because usually every race gives you a +1 or a +2 to a certain.
I think
stat.
so. I don't know if theirs are standard though, because some of them don't give you a choice. Where are you?
Yeah.
No, actually, it's free to choose. It says, so ability scores is con +2. Choose one from strength, dex, or int. So its standard brings up your constitution. Or choose one from literally any of the others.
Gotcha.
So any of the others except for constitution. So it thinks just because you're a warforged, your constitution is higher.
Well, because again, they're like immune to. Okay, so and that's fair. Bringing it up to a 10 is fine. Because remember, this is the assume you're rolling. This isn't gonna be your cult stats. You're not gonna go to a DM and say these are my stats. But this is the spread on. If you roll a spread of numbers, this should be the spread. Con should be your lowest. Intelligence should be your highest. Charisma your second. So yeah, it's more. Remember, it's a guideline.
So what about taking? What about taking one away? Well, either way, it's going to basically be the same thing. So either we can put one in strength from being a warforged to bring it back up to 15. So and then the 2 in con will bring the con up to 10. So then we'll have our end level 13 stats be 15, 12, 10, 18, 12, 16, which I don't think is crazy for a level 13 player.
No, not really. Yeah, I don't think that's terrible. I mean, it's doable, having, an 18, 16, 15 with 2 12s actually isn't that bad.
Yeah.
No, that's not really that bad. Cool.
And a 10.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it, right? That's all you would need to do the guide.
I've got all the feats. I've got all the necessary spells.
I can send this to you if this will help.
That will definitely be helpful.
I'll send all 3 things to you. But yeah, I mean, we don't have to do like before we've kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but I mean,
no, we don't for on stream.
This
is what I need. Let me just look real quick if there's anything else, especially since we're doing just
also. While I have you here, let me just send all 3 of these things to you in Discord so you can easily like just read over them, just to make sure that they all make sense.
Ooh, we're gonna get a spell storing item. Wonder what spell we're gonna put in that.
Wait, what? What? Spell storing item.
Yeah, at level 11, as an artificer, you get a spell storing item.
Interesting.
That's one of your features you can create.
Okay, so there I just sent you the final build and then the notes that we took on the 2. Just to kind
maybe
of
that's what he puts in his little antenna as the catapult spell, and he can just basically lightweight cap.
right, or that's what the toolbox is, right? Because he can like shove it and like, you know, obviously compress it to fire.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
his catapult spells. He shoves it in there, whatever he wants to catapult.
Wild. I love it.
I would say the radio would probably, you know, yeah, be the spell storage for other spells. Yeah, but I like that. I kind of like the idea that his little toolbox is like his magical arcane focus.
We don't get magic savant, magic item savant. I don't think we need that. Spell storing item.
I'm going. Yeah, no. Thinking about the movie,
Flash of Genius.
because that's really it. Like they're, you know, super short, campy movies, but they're super fun.
And I genuinely feel like, especially by the end of the third movie or the second movie, I feel like 13 feels good.
Well,
13 feels really good.
We've made mention of this before in other streams. How many campaigns, even short ones, even one shots, go to level 20? Maybe this is enough. Maybe this is going to be for a one shot, or maybe this is going to just be someone who completes a level but gets to see Johnny 5 all the way through.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is just an NPC build. Like, remember, these don't have to be playable. These could be just NPCs. You want to. I would love someone to do I could see you doing a one shot like this. If you get to the stage where you want to do something more prepared, is doing a multiverse one shot where everyone gets to pick like a famous character. If they can put it together and you're like, I have a couple built, like you could be Shazam, you could be Alucard, you could be Johnny 5. Like this could be one of those one shots where you just have a bunch of these pre-builds and you're like, what character do you want to be from what fantasy or, you know, from what pop culture background? And then that's the party. And everyone plays it.
It's almost like I'm giving you a creature stat block rather than a character sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all the things that you need to know about your character are right here. You still have all like the stat, but it's all lightweight pre-generated because that's just what this character is, has, and does. I think that would be kind of fun to just drop Johnny 5 into like a random, you know, just like if you could actually play into his personality too. Right? Why does it give me? I mean, lightweight reminds me of Shazam. I mean, because Shazam's just a little kid.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In an adult's body, and you know, he's just a little baby in a robot's body.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's going to be good. I think that should be enough for you to put together the,
for sure.
The roadmap as well as the
perfect.
build. So we'll go ahead and post those and let you know. But if you are watching from home, let us know what you thought about today's pop culture build. That is Johnny 5 and number 5. We are going to do one giant build. This is just going to be an Artificer Warforged, and it's going to be the Armorer, so you're going to have the 2 armor sets. Now, canonically, you would be expected to play one and then change over, but of course, you're going to have to build this over time. So I guess you could basically just, you know, play it as is and swap back and forth every time you do a rest, or you could play into it and do the character. Doesn't matter, but we are curious, did we get it right? Do you know Johnny 5 enough? Do you know it better than we do? Did we miss anything, or did we get something wrong? Let us know in the comments. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back next week with another episode. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend ahead of you, and we will see you on the next episode. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.
I almost hit the end stream button. We're not quite ending stream yet. No, that was cool. I am so happy we finally got to that, because Johnny 5, ever since I came up with that idea, maybe it was just an excuse to watch the movies again.
For sure. But still, no, it was cool. It was way fun. It was way fun. Like I can't tell you how long it's been since I've seen those movies, man.
Right?
It's like
I can't believe how well they hold up. Like the actual
I enjoyed
effects.
watching it again. Like again, there are some movies where I'm like, yes, I remember why I liked this when I was younger, but like it's hard for me to watch it.
It's hard to still be entertaining. Yeah,
but this was a fun watch. You know, like I appreciate that.
I don't know if you watched it with Krem, but I watched it with Vixie, and I couldn't stop laughing. Like literally, and a lot of it was nostalgic laughing.
Sure,
just like I remember this, but there's just a lot of good scenes, good one-liners. I mean, Johnny's character, hands down, one of the best written personalities of cinema. In my opinion, Johnny 5 just has, like, I don't know what it is. It's for someone who's not an actor, like it's not an actor, it's a voice. But it's just everything they did with it. It's not just the voice actor who was behind it, but everything they did with the animatronics. As an audience member, it's very rare for me to feel attached. And I don't mean like narratively. Obviously, sure. I'm attached to the main character and, you know, oh, I don't want him to die. Like, I have the narrative attachment. Johnny's a character that, like, it's that, like, you know, parasocial relationship attachment where I'm like, I watch that movie and I want, like, I really get invested into, like, that kind of a character, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, I want to know, like, I wish you were real, kind of like, oh my God, I'm attached to that. Like, it's just one of those things where I like Johnny more than I like many, many real actors. And I'm just like, I don't know how they did that, but they brought it out in just all of the right ways. You know, it's like a comedian just hitting a new style of comedy just in the right way that you're just like, I like that.
I think it's like how a lot of people feel about some of, what's that one comedian, the ventriloquist dude?
Oh, yes, Jeff Dunham.
Yeah.
Dunham.
He's got so many different personalities in his bag, and like some of them are just like, they just hit different. It's like, right? Yo, that one, that's my vibe right there.
And that's what it was. Like I watched that movie, and the entire time I'm cracking up over Johnny, and just everything about that character is just like, it's that mix of the innocence but with the capability.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's that both, you're sad, but you're not worried, but you are, but you're also terrified. Like, it's that whole mix of just like, I want to protect you, but at the same time, don't get too close to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're too precious, but I'm also too fragile to be near you.
Wild.
Oh, but it's a good time. No, I'm glad y'all were here for that. Thank you, Sol and Hecate, for showing up and keeping us some company. I hope you guys liked that build. Sol, I know you were waiting for that just as long as I was, so thank you for being patient with us while we got to it. But I think it's going to be a great write-up. I don't know. So we've done Alucard, Shazam, and now Johnny 5.
Yes.
This might be my favorite. Just in general. Like, if I were going to play one of these, this would probably be the one I would do.
Really?
I think Shazam is our best. Like, in terms of overall build, complexity, episode-wise, and output, I think Shazam is the best just because it hit everything. I mean, we're talking, we got race, dragon lineage, abilities, racial abilities, class abilities, multi-class, like,
it's interesting
the way we had the way you broke down, the beautiful way you broke down the actual Shazam part.
Yeah.
And
I
we
think
actually
that
nailed
worked
it.
out so well. That worked out so well.
I'm so mad I didn't come up with something like that, because when you broke that down and we're just being like, this is how it was perfect. It was like, this is how we need to build it. I like Alucard, great. I have no issues with Alucard. Shazam, I will say Alucard is our best build.
I think Alucard is my favorite, mostly because of, I don't want to say it's simplicity, but it feels very straightforward. It feels like, if I want to play one, this is going to be a fun build. And I feel like a lot of the times that can be because I've seen stuff like the Castlevania anime on Netflix. Like, they've got a couple of seasons of that, and Alucard's in both. The ones with like the old Belmont and like the new, he's like a descendant or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And watching what he can do, looking at like who he is as a character, like I really appreciate how a lot of that is like represented, and seeing what we built, I'm like, I can't wait to find a way to like embody that, to like show that off, to like see what that looks like.
I can't wait till we actually hear someone try one of these characters out in a game.
Oh,
like,
yes.
That would be so
yes.
awesome to say someone like got to use Alucard,
right?
Like as a build. Like I can't wait. But yeah, this one might be my favorite, and maybe that's just a nostalgia because I just watched the movies.
Sure.
And I don't really have any connection to Shazam. Like, wasn't my comic in the back in the day. So
sure.
Maybe that's just it.
Either.
Maybe just rose-colored glasses. But I loved this one. I just think Shazam was the best because it just fell together perfectly.
Yeah, I do agree. And weirdly enough, it was our first one too. So like,
yeah, and maybe that was it too. It hit hard. We went all in on that one. But I'm happy with this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope both of you are excited for tomorrow, because I am not excited for the next 2 hours that I have to do. It's probably not. I honestly, Honestly, what I don't want, and the only thing I'm really like upset about, is I've made the decision that I'm just going to move the desktop into the back. So it's just unplugging all of this shit
Fair
and
enough.
moving that into the back, and then deciding, do I need 2 screens to run this game,
Sure.
to run the game bit, which I don't, and I already have a second screen back there. So the only downside is the even with the laptop, I always have 2 screens, but I'm not gonna have 2 screens this time.
Right.
So I don't know if that's gonna hinder me or not. It might just mean that y'all don't have a screen, but it is nice to
It'll
give
be
you
all
a
right.
screen. Yeah. I will figure it out. I guess absolute worst case, I will drag one of these damn monitors back there too. I don't want to do that, but you know what? It's a subathon and I might have to.
I mean, if we're pulling out all the stops.
And watch, we're going to do all of this and then only 2 people are going to show up.
No,
I'm calling
no.
it right now.
We're speaking life, man. We're speaking life. We're going to have all the people show up.
Everybody shows up. We'll see. Honestly, like the last couple times, I will admit there's been a couple streams that I got my hopes up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so with this, as excited as I am, I'm not gonna shy away from doing it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. But
It's that hard
I'm
balance
not-
of hope for the best, prepare for the worst type shit.
exactly, and that's what it is. I have definitely prepared for the best. I have the goals ready. I have stretch goals if we need them. Every possible interaction is covered and thought about. It's just either we're gonna have a really chaotic day tomorrow, or Sol and Hecate are each about to get like 3 little mini paints,
All the
and that's
things.
about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically gonna be 2 people getting everything and we just have a chill day, or it's about to get fucking chaotic. So
Right.
we are prepared, but I'm just excited to hang out with all my buddies. Like, I got some of my favorite people coming over tomorrow to hang out with me.
It's going to
So,
be good shit.
you know what I
It's gonna
mean?
be good
Like-
shit. Hell yeah.
It's gonna be a great birthday. Like, as far as I'm concerned, this is a birthday gift to myself because I got my buddies to come over and hang out with me for a couple hours doing some paintings. Like,
Hell yeah.
not that I have to like convince people to do it, but it's like, this is gonna be cool. I just get to hang out with some of my favorite people, and you know,
Chill out, vibe, and do some of your favorite things.
Exactly. That's what tomorrow's gonna be all about. So
You guys are our favorite people too.
yeah, that does include you if you show up, but only if you show up.
That's right, because screw you other way. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed today. This was a great build. But tomorrow, yes, tomorrow is the big day, our very first subathon. So yeah, if you can, please show up. We will be live for 6 hours to begin with, and it'll just keep extending the more people show up and interact. But it will start at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, going till 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless we get extended, and then we will just keep going until the timer runs out. We do have a timer. I can actually show the timer off at least. The timer is kind of fancy.
Fancy.
Because I haven't made the scene yet, but it's in this scene is where all the placeholders are, so I can just copy and paste them when I need them.
Legit.
So the subathon counter, that's the sub goals. Those are some of the options. So yeah, so you can see here down there. That's what it's going to look like when we first go live, and that's going to immediately start counting down. So the plan is that I'm probably officially going to go live
Nice.
at 9:30, but I will have that 30-minute window of a countdown for final preparation. Might be like, you know, closer to like 9:45, but we will be live on camera, and that counter down there will start counting down at 10 a.m. So if we go live before that, we'll just run out the countdown counter until
Sure.
10 a.m. But that'll just be to kind of, you know, fluff things up. So if you see us go live before 10 a.m., you can feel free to show up, but don't start spamming subs just yet, because you want us to
We want to
on
be here
there.
for that.
Yeah, you don't want to give us all the subs before we even go live. So show up tomorrow. That'll be really fun. I'm super excited. Like I said, we have everything. We have Bean Boozled, we have Sour, we have hot challenges, we have prizes, giveaways, personal rewards, community rewards.
All the things.
It's amazing how much we have. It's really going to depend on how far they push and how badly they want.
I think it's gonna be cool. No matter what it ends up looking like, it's gonna be a very fun time for the community, for us, for everyone that's coming through. So
4 more days, and then we have a 12-month sub from Hecate. Jeez.
Wild.
So in 4, it can't be that though, because we didn't make affiliate until August.
It was August for sure.
Yeah, so that has to be month 11, Hecate. There's no way we can be at 12 yet.
Unless somehow can you get it
backwards?
stacked? Because if you buy more or something like that, like
because we made affiliate like
does gifted subs count towards your stuff? Does that
no,
make
no,
sense?
because this is counting how many consecutive months Hecate's been a sub. So I don't know how that count works. I'm pretty sure we didn't make it until August, but if Hecate got their first one in August, no, I guess that would be 12 months then. Because going back would be the 13th month, because that would be this reset of the new year.
Oh, okay.
So it is 12 months. No, I'm just bad at calendar math.
Calendar math is hard.
Yeah, but no, if it was back in August, that would be the reset of a full year, which would be month 13.
Crazy.
No, that checks out. Is July would be the 12th month after August. August would then be the 13th month, resetting the year to month 1.
Yeah.
I wasn't, because I was thinking, August to August. I'm like, that's 12 months. Like, why doesn't that work? And I'm like, that's 12 months to the day, but not 12 months to the month.
Right.
If you actually count August as its own month, you end at July. So yeah, my bad. But that's crazy.
That
12.
is crazy.
We've had it sub for 12 months. That's fucking crazy. That someone out there like actually likes our shit that much. Y'all are crazy. Why do you like us? Like,
because we're cool cats, man.
Oh, this is I don't know if I could handle being any more popular, you know what I mean? Like, it's a dream, but like I don't know how I'm handling knowing that someone's paid money to listen to me yap for a fucking year. Like, what, like, I'm glad I don't have a fucking ego, because I don't even know how to handle that. And now I'm thinking like, and I want like 100 of these bitches. Like, what? I want 100 people telling me that I'm worth listening. Like, how am I gonna handle that?
I to be honest, the way I look at it is, yeah, there's 100. But think about when a musical artist goes up on stage at one of their concerts. They got who knows how many people in their audience, right? But out of all those people, they're really only interacting, with some of them.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, we got all these people, like, yeah, there might be 100 at some point, but like a lot of them are going to be quiet. They're going to be people like me who just like hang out and like to like be a part of like what's going on.
Yeah, the silent supporters.
Exactly. There's going to be a bunch of other people like Hecate and Soul that are like really active and not only hyping us up, but getting everybody else hopped up. Yeah, exactly. They're the mosh pit, And
like there's the fans that show up for the show, and then there's the fans that show up and sing the lyrics.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it is. And it's like there's the fans that listen to us on the radio, right? Those are the people that just come in, watch, and leave. Maybe they come back. There's the people that come to the show. Those are the followers, right? They're here for the generalness of it.
Sure.
But like the subs are the people that are buying the CDs. They're listening to the songs, at home. They're singing along to the show. Like, That's how I kind of look at the level of this audience, right? Is there's tons of people who don't know who we are. There's a handful of people who hear about us, right? They stumble across us some way or another, and we're like the radio, right? You may see us again, like on TikTok, but you may not. But if you're coming to our shows, you gave us a follow. You're coming, you'll see us live, but maybe we're just, we're headlining someone else. So
sure.
We're, we're just the front people, and you're here for the headliner, but you don't mind seeing us before they, go live. But yeah, there's always those first diehard fans, the people who bought the t-shirts first, the ones that got the signed, CD that, said that they were there first. So
exactly.
It's those are the kind of fans that like, those are the ones that you play the concerts for. Like you put on the concert for everybody, but you play the concert for those fans that are singing along.
because those are the type of people that are sharing in the experience that you as the artist are also having. It's like they're there
Exactly.
for like the heart of it rather than, you know,
They're there
the
to-
hype of it.
They're there to experience, not consume.
Yes.
Like there's plenty of people who go to concerts to consume the entertainment. There's only a handful that go there to experience it for the way the artist is intending to, and that's who the artist is there for, right?
Yeah.
Like when you hear the artist like hit that note and just like connect with the audience, they're not connecting with you. They're connecting with everybody on that like level that they're at. And it's
Yeah.
like I like that. So it's like I said, it's crazy. Like, you know, I mean, I did music for a couple years and, you know, again, same thing, never thought to be famous. It was more for therapy and just kind of trying something new with my life because I like, you know, kind of like that dirty jobs guy. I like going and trying things for a little while and then feeling like I got enough of the experience to be happy with it, right? I don't need to blow up and make a whole album. I made a couple songs. I produced a couple things of music. You know, I networked a little bit. I got some songs out there, but it's like, that's it. I didn't need to, you know, get signed and do it for 10 years to say that I did it. I'm not claiming that I was anything big or did anything with it, but
you did it.
But yeah, I did music for 3 years and
you took action. You became a thing. Like, to be honest, I haven't trained actively in martial arts in a long time, but it doesn't stop me from being a martial artist just because it's not something that I'm like doing every second of the day. You know what I mean? So it's real, and I think that's a massive accomplishment.
So wait, so there's another streamer that you follow that does music, like they actually make music, or does someone in that like gaming group make music? Because it's kind of cool. Someone made a custom song for a campaign that used the Ice Monarch that Hecate built.
Oh, wild!
And so that's kind of cool. I've thought about doing music for us.
For High Point?
Yeah, for High Point, for Misfit Gamer Studios, for D&D discussions. I've thought about making music for it, but you know, I'm not a music maker. Like, first off, I'm you know, I write lyrics and I rap. I don't I'm not good at composing music. But also my passion for music and my drive to create music doesn't stem from just I'm not an artist in the sense of I don't create music for the art and for the love of creating music.
Yeah.
I create music when I have an outlet and I have a need to use that. Like, it's an outlet for me. And
but
when I need that particular outlet
in and of
when
itself,
I'll make
like,
something.
There's plenty of artists that make art for many different reasons. It doesn't make it any less art. You know what I mean?
But what I mean by that is like, even though I want music for the stream, it's not like my type of art that I'm going to be able to produce.
Right.
If there was like something that I needed to really get through, I could use music to get through it. But I'm not just going to be like, oh, because I know how to do music, I'm just going to write a song for this. Like, I'm not just going to sit down and be like, that's not the kind of that. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't pursue a major music career, is because that's what you need to be. I absolutely understand that you need to be someone making a new song every week. You need to be able to write an album, you know, in a year and make exactly the types of songs that are demanded of you. I just wasn't like that. You know what I mean? For me, it would take, I wouldn't bust out a song in an afternoon. It would take months, but it would be the exact song I wanted, right? Like, wasn't to the point of perfectionism. I still don't like a lot of the stuff that's in my songs. Like, I'm still a perfectionist in that, but
I feel like there are some music consumers out there. It's definitely not the large majority, but there are some out there that would very much appreciate like what I would consider like an underground artist that only makes songs like once every couple of years. And like, that's the only,
I wish it were like that anymore. That's how it used to be in the 80s and 90s, right? Like, you could drop an album once every 8 years and you would still be relevant. Nowadays, that kind of relevancy just doesn't happen anymore. If you wait more than like if I basically try to put music out again, I would basically be starting from scratch. Like, that's how it kind of is. If you go more than like a year or two without making something, you are basically starting from ground zero. Unless you made a huge following, you know what I mean? Like, you just there's no sticking power anymore. Like,
yeah,
that's unfortunately.
I feel like a lot of what people have to do is either their old stuff has to be like in constant circulation, or they have to have enough of an alternate presence where people are just like knowing what they're up to and following you as the artist slash individual, like to basically keep you in the, because I feel like a lot of these people, it's like the object permanence mentality.
Yeah,
it's like if you're not in my face, then I forget you exist type deal.
Well, and you know, let's face it, I chose a genre that I connect with and that I worked well in, but let's face it, a lot of music is persona. And as much as I vibe with different genres, to be an artist in a particular genre typically comes with a lot of scrutiny if you don't fit the part. You know,
Sure.
like it's very like it's not that it can't happen. There are plenty of people who, you know, cross that line and are able to bridge that gap. But initially starting out, it's extremely difficult to be taken seriously if you don't fit the mold. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the other thing too. It's like for someone who took weeks and months to get a song right, and it would only take me a couple days to write the song, but then it would take me weeks to figure out exactly how I wanted to rap it onto the beat, you know, find the right beat, and then develop what I wanted to do with it. It's just not a process that a lot of people want, right? A lot of people, especially producers, they just want to get into the booth and just give you a beat, and then they just want you to just be, by the end of the day, be done. And it's like, nah, I'll take my time, because when I take my time, I'm unstoppable. Like, I can put together amazing lyrics if I have enough time. And that's just, and I, you know, the people that can freestyle and can do it just on the top of their head, it's a talent that I lack and I respect.
Oh, heck yeah.
But
you know,
at the same time, it's like, you know, I
was talking to Krem and her sister, and one of the things we were talking about is how a lot of like rap was birthed out of, you know, the whole idea of like rap battles and like this whole like off the dome, and like, you know, I come to you with just my mind and my words, and like we have it out.
Yeah.
So
it was battle of wits more than anything. And, and that's the thing, is I'm not witty and I'm not fast and clever, but if you give me time, I can tell a story. And that's the other thing too. I'm a storyteller when it comes to it, right? Like, I don't know. And then just different types of music, right? So it's like, I just recognize that.
But it doesn't mean that anything that isn't rap. You know what I mean? And like, that's what I feel like a lot of people, they get this thing in their head where it's like, oh, if it's not how it was when it started, that means it's no longer the thing. And I'm like, yeah, these things evolve throughout all of creation, you know, like rock evolved from blues, evolved from whatever.
Every genre is just an alternate of a previous genre, right?
Exactly.
Someone's alternate. And that's why I'm like, that's why it's not like a big deal. Like, I don't, you know, I didn't make any money off of it. I didn't like do any concerts or anything else like that. Like,
sure.
It wasn't a career, it was a hobby, but I took that hobby and it, you know, I did something with it. Like, my stuff's still public. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm taking this a lot more seriously than I took that. I'll tell you that much. But in both endeavors, I did it for not to get famous and not to like be popular reasons. So it's weird because now this is actually taking off. It's like, wasn't the point, but now that I have it, I don't know what to do with it.
I mean, you know, I my vote is always, you know, you keep your eyes fixed on the prize, right? And you had the prize before you had any of this, and like you just said, this wasn't the prize. So what you're looking at, like, it's great if it comes along with you, but the prize at the end of the day is what you've been striving for, what you've been fighting for since the jump. So yeah, you know,
and I'm not even sure what that is. I mean, dude, it's been 2.5 years. I don't even, like, to be completely honest, I don't even know why I started this anymore. Like, I remember the mindsets. I know how I wanted to do it. Like, I remember so much about the development of it. But why did I start doing this? Like, I knew it wasn't ever going to be, like, I never had it in my head that I was going to start streaming and be able to quit my job. It was never a thought. Never once did I think, and I don't mean like I wasn't that egotistical. I mean, I just don't have that much confidence in myself. When I started this, I was like, I'm just not going to ever be that good. I don't think I'm that good.
But even if that's just not the point for you, and like it's not like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're not that good. It's just like, that's not why I'm here.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
that's
not-
it. I just don't. It's just funny that the months leading up to that very first stream are kind of a blur now because I've moved so far past
Sure.
whatever those initial feelings were. But it is weird to just think back and go, what? Like I remember the mindset. I remember why I chose D&D as the topic. I remember why I chose a talk show over video games. I know all the things that got me here. Why did I turn the camera on that first day? Like why did I think live streaming? Why did I want to do that? Because it wasn't for the Oracle. It wasn't to talk about High Point and document it, right? Like I knew I wanted to do live stream. I knew I wanted an audience.
Sure.
But
I mean,
it
from
wasn't-
what I remember, because I wasn't involved in a whole lot of the development part of it, like before you turned the camera first on. I remember you bringing it up to me. I remember you talking about it. I remember, you just positing like it as a possibility, as an idea, and then all of a sudden it's a thing you're doing now, type deal. But like the beforehand, the biggest thing was it was very similar to your music. It was an outlet for very different reasons, but it was an outlet of an energy of to do. A lot of people will pick hobbies like why collect stamps, why play Magic the Gathering, why play D&D, but like a lot of the stuff, a lot of the why comes from just an innate desire to do, right? And so this was an outlet that it felt like you found that was an applicable to do. It was a thing that you found like, I can do this in this way if I have these things. And like all of that development you were talking about was almost working out the why this, because this is the most effective way for me to accomplish why I'm not doing all those other things, why I'm not doing the video game one, why I'm not doing these other pieces. It's like, it's this because this is what fulfills the role that I'm trying to, the outlet that I'm trying to let out, So I
mean, that sounds very logical and very much like me. I can't confirm or deny.
I mean, fair enough.
Because again, I can't remember, but that completely sounds logical. Like I just needed a new hobby, and I didn't want it to be video games. But I mean, I can't find any fault in that logic. I just can't say that's. I have no recollection.
It's not in your head.
But
That's what it was.
I don't know. It is. It's just like I remember all of the phases that we've gone through in the ways that we've thought about this, and it's just looking back. I know we've gotten better, but it feels different. You know what I mean? Just like going into every Monday, Friday, just it is definitely so much more part about my life now. After 2.5 years, it's no longer like that hobby that I picked up. It's just the thing that I do. It's just that thing that I can't do anything with anybody on Mondays and Fridays because I have a plan, like I'm already booked for, indefinitely on every Monday and Friday.
Exactly.
It's wild. We're about to do a subathon. Like this is something that I only watched for years happen with people. I thought like whenever I saw a subathon, I'm like, oh man, they must be like a big streamer, right? Like because you always look at those because they're always full of people,
right?
You're getting so much interaction, and I'm just like, and now we're about to do one, and not just to do one. I mean, we're legitimately have every reason to do one, and we've fully it's weird, man. It's weird.
It's real, bro.
It's weird.
It is real.
Like, what's it gonna be like when we have to do that YouTube video where where we do the 10-year anniversary video on YouTube? Like, how's that gonna feel if we ever get to that stage? Like, we're already 2.5 years in. Like, it's gonna feel weird if we're sitting here one day or sitting anywhere at that point.
It's gonna feel nostalgic. Is what I feel
10
like.
years at D&D.
It's one of those things when you look back on it and you try to imagine yourself as the person that you were like right now. So like when it's 10 years, I'm gonna try and imagine what I'm thinking of right now, like how I was, and it's gonna be so hard to impossible. It's like I don't know how we got from there to here, but we're here now, and
but we're here now.
That's why I say it's gonna feel nostalgic. It's because it's gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember when we were just when we were just thinking about what this could be, and now look at what we're surrounded with, and we're already experiencing that now, but it's just an exponential degree that's going to increase every single time. It's like it's a year.
How funny is it going to be in a couple of years reminiscing over how many times we fought fucking getting the camera to be just right on that little ledge, because I couldn't clip it to anything, so I had to like sit there and spend like 10 minutes before every stream setting up the camera so we kind of looked like the previous stream before we got everything like locked in, so we're actually like oh my god, the things we've gone through in just 2.5 years. And you know, we didn't even go through like the golden era of like YouTube and streaming where people were learning about all this stuff. It's just, again, just the small upgrades and the small things that we have done to get to this stage. I mean, even just us talking, it's weird because, again, this is just part of our life now. But sometimes I have to remind myself how difficult this was to just talk, to just have a constant stream of intellectual banter with you. You know, before it was long, like it wasn't even long silences, but there was just filler talk until we came up with something to say.
I've had a realization about that. Like, you say it was difficult. I feel like yes, but it's only difficult until it isn't.
Yeah.
Right? Because for some people it was never difficult because they have natural talent. They just know how to do things like that. Other people, it's difficult for a long time because it's really hard for them to wrap their mind around what it is. And some people it's difficult for a short time because they pick up on things quick and whatever. But you know, like in the martial arts, it was difficult for me to throw a front kick at a certain time. Now it's one of the easiest things. You know, I can do that without thinking, you know, type deal. So yes, I do think so. But I also think that, you know, it's a skill set that you are working towards getting really, really, really good at.
Yeah.
And like, it's becoming semi-second nature to you, you know. And
well, it's like anything, you know, practice. And I think practice is a good term, not just because we do it so often, but I think it's a mindset that we come into it with, right? We are constantly judging ourselves in good ways, but we're constantly being mindful of how we can improve. You know, our speech patterns, our verbiage, our pauses, our letting each other talk has gotten better. Like, there's a lot of things that we've worked on because we're constantly wanting to work on that. But there are definitely examples of streamers who have been out there for a long time who are no different than they were day one, because that's just either their vibe or they have no self-awareness or no interest in improving. They're here to do what they want, and we weren't. We were here to do what we want, but in a way that will be acceptable to everybody, right? Like, we were willing to mold into what people wanted while still doing what we wanted, right? Doing the things we wanted while doing it in a way that people liked.
Right.
And I feel like there are some streamers out there who just don't have that. They don't have that self-awareness or that understanding that, hey, I have followers, so they just love what I choose to do. But it's like, they love something about you.
There's a balance.
But you need to also work with them.
And those are the people who unfortunately experience the significant ebbs and flows in the whims of the community, wherein things can shift fairly dramatically the second you stop giving them what they want or whatever the case may be, you know. So
exactly.
I feel like it's really good that, you know, I feel like you have always had a very keen finger on the pulse of what you're actually doing here, like what your purpose is, like what you are trying to get and develop out of the time that you spend, you know, on camera with the community, like doing all the things that you're doing. Not only is it stuff that you want to do, but it's also stuff that you're looking to see what other people are finding value out of as well. So, I mean,
I will say this is the first endeavor I've cared so much about what other people think.
Sure.
Normally my projects are entirely solo, but
yeah,
this is the first time like I'm truly like, you know, I'm good at like bouncing ideas and sound and using people as a soundboard or working in teams as a project, but like to want to build something that has so many facets to it to appeal to so many different people, this is honestly the biggest I've ever done in terms of that. This is the biggest endeavor I've ever taken.
Right.
To appease so many people, but not in a bad way, not in a negative, a people pleaser way.
Right,
but in
right,
a way
exactly.
that it's me doing something not just for me in the most selfless way that I've ever done it. And I don't mean that as in I'm a usually terrible person. It's just that usually when I have an idea, like the tavern, when I have an idea, I run with it because I'm very happy with my idea. And unless it involves Vixie or you, such as with the brand, if I have an idea, I'm going to run with it. I will run with it until it absolutely involves someone else, and then I'll be mindful enough to involve them.
Sure.
But if I'm confident enough with my idea, I will involve them as little as I think is necessary, because not because of an ego, it's just more of a, hey, I got this.
I'm here to make what I'm trying to make.
Exactly. And it's like, I'll bring you in if I need your help, and I will definitely let your idea influence it. But I'm not going to ask you to rebuild what I think is going to work, right? Like, it's
kind of like a lot of our homebrew review.
Exactly. So it's not so much a ego of, well, you don't know any better. It's just more of hey, I have something that's going to work. You can improve it, but it's going to work. So let's not rebuild it from the ground up.
Sure.
Let's get this to work, and then we'll figure it out later, right? And that's how normally I am. But I think this is the first time where it's just much more of a constant check-in. That's why I do the check-ins with the community of like, what do you guys want? What do you brings you here?
Where we at? What are we looking for?
Yeah, because
what are you getting out of it?
Exactly, because it's great to hear people say, "Well, I just come for you guys." Like, you have no idea how amazing that sounds. You know what I mean? Just to know that we are entertaining enough and we are welcoming enough to have that feeling. Like that's I think that's a very difficult thing to have on a very impersonal thing. I mean, yeah, it's a live stream and you can see us, but it's still very impersonal, and there's still a detachment. So the fact that we're entertaining enough for people to just enjoy whatever we do, there's a flattery to that I can't even describe. But from a business standpoint, that does me no good, because I can't just go live and make this work. You know what I mean? Like I can't just decide to turn the camera on and it just works. There has to be something, right?
And I will say that is very much based upon what works looks like for you. Because I'll say what you're trying to do and what I'm trying to do are very different things. Like when I go live, I'm not trying to build a community. Not like I'm against that or anything, but like
right.
I do it almost to just help my mental state. So me just literally turning on the camera and then just doing whatever I'm doing out there.
The body
like,
coupling.
That's really all I'm looking for. That is my definition of works. But for you, what you're trying to build, there's more to it than that. There's gonna be more than just, being out here doing whatever it is you're doing. Like you are literally trying to build something.
Yeah.
And
I want to be consistent with things that, because it's not just about new people, right? I don't want 1,000 million billion followers. I mean, we do,
sure.
But it's more important to me to have reoccurring followers. I would much rather have a majority of the audience be reoccurring followers with a small but steady growth than have explosive growth every single stream with almost always new people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I was
a huge revolving door.
Yeah, if I was getting 100 new followers every stream and 5 new subs every stream, but that was it. It was literally always 100 new people and 5 new subs. That'd be great. Sure. I mean, I'd roll with it. But to have 50 people in chat that are there every single day and 1 new subscriber every week, that would be my goal, right? Like that's what works for me. Like if I go live and I got 50 people saying hello and are excited for whatever it is that we're about to do, and I get maybe 1 follower and 1 sub a stream, that to me is more successful than 100 new followers and 5 new subs every stream.
Sure.
When I don't ever see the same people.
Yeah.
If I'm not sitting there being able to remember your name, if I'm just mindlessly talking to mindless names, it's not what I want. I'd much rather be able to say, hey, I know that name.
I totally feel that. Like it's very much a different vibe. Like those two articulations are very much different vibes, very much different experiences that you're going to have You know, like I've seen, like I get a lot of my content from like YouTube. Like if I'm looking something up, or if I'm trying to like, say if I want to look into like some Marvel Rivals information, you know, they just came out with a new character, so I want to know what's going on with this new character. I'm watching these people on YouTube, but they streamed this live, and I'm seeing them interact with their own chat, and I see how a lot of these much bigger streamers, they're literally just talking to a general, like they don't know who, even the people that are subscribing, you know, like some of them will have been there for multiple months, but again, it's like, how well do you know that person? Like, yes, they've been here
and you're picking out individual chats, but you're not talking to that person. You're picking out, because there is a point at which, you don't look at the who typed it. You're skimming the chat to find a topic that's going to
find a thing to respond to. It's
but
like,
that's different than being able to be like, oh my God, Hoylepa's here. Like, Hoylepa, good morning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference between those people showing up and be like, I know that name. I know what you've submitted.
It's very few and far between that, like, he'll be like, oh, I've actually had this person on the show, or I played games with this person. Like, so yes, I know this. But again, that's there's like one or two of those versus like you're talking about, like, I know 50 of you guys. Like, you know, it's I would say that's a kid. Like when I was in the military, I was on a ship with like 70 other people. I knew almost every single one of those other people.
You had to.
Like, I'm not like best friends with them.
No, but
I knew your name, I knew where you worked, all that stuff. Like,
you had to in that, and that's a community, right? That's a big difference between being in a community and then just being part of something, right? And that's what I would much prefer. I would much prefer to have an entire chat full of people I know that, you know, are constantly there to be interactive. That would get me to stream more than just racking in random subs. And I think it's also because maybe in my mind there's a biasness, because in my opinion, if I'm just getting that many random people, I'm probably not doing content I like. You know what I mean? I just don't imagine that D&D discussions is just going to have that, right? Like, maybe there's just a bias there. But yeah,
I would say our content is very much not what I would call whimsical content.
Yeah.
Stuff that you can just a cute little dance video and then moving on to the next one. It's like you don't need to be invested in that creator to enjoy that piece of content.
So I'll use TikTok as another example before we get out of here. It's getting late. So like on TikTok, I appreciate when I get a couple hundred views. You know, when I push the 500 mark, when I get over 1,000 views, it's a great feeling. When I get something that has 50 likes and 20 comments, feels really fucking good, right? Like, that's what you want. That's the intended goal.
Sure.
But the thing that gets me, like the thing that really pushes me further, is not the likes, not the comments, and not the views going up. It's over the last couple months, having realized that I have a group of about half a dozen or so other content creators who frequent my page. Like, I can go to those who have viewed your page. I can go to that every single day, and I will see at least 2 of the same 6 to 10 creators coming onto my page. And at least once a week, one of them does a post from my content.
Reaction or response to something you've done.
And not like repost it, like actually responds and does their own video to it. That gets me, like, that's gotten me to, like, the reason why our TikTok channel kind of like suddenly changed these last couple months, because I don't have any more shorts from, you know, the podcast anymore.
Sure.
So those just kind of fell out. But I started realizing that I was getting more encouraged to make content for other creators to work off of. Because that's a better way than just hoping that strangers like my content, because they'll take me into their audiences. So there's a better growth potential. But I'm just more interested in the fact that these other content creators look to me for inspiration. That is what's getting me, like, motivated. When I realize that there are other, not that they're relying on me and it's an ego thing. It's just that I'm in
it's
my
being
zone.
Interacted with. Yeah.
Well, it's like, as I've always said this, it's like my zone is like, my dream job is just to get paid for my ideas. Like, to never do the manual labor, just to come up with how it works, why it works, and how to do it, and then give it to someone else to actually do.
Sure.
And that's kind of what TikTok feels like right now, is when I see these creators come to my page and every couple of days they snag something that's good for them. And I know that they're not trying to steal my content because it's always like collaborative. But the simple fact that I'm able to be a resource that not only they've used, but consistently check in on, like they know I'm going to check Misfit Gamers because they have content I can use. Like the fact that I'm now reliable to these people, to have them not just like my content regularly, but look to me to build this greater community. I'm like, I feel like I'm actually have a place, you know, and that's what I want to be. And I want to be, you know, it's not like some like philanthropic, I just want everyone to be happy. Like I want to make money off of it. I want to get my own with it, but I don't want to just be mindless about it, right? Like there is something about me that just wants to give. Like I want to get equally. I don't give for free, but I am motivated to give when my heart's in it, right? And that's kind of one of those things. It's like right now I'm finding that swing with TikTok is just I'm finally in some sort of niche that makes the most sense right now for the content that we're making.
Yeah, no, I for sure feel that. I think we are for sure going in a super positive, super valuable direction, and that as we continue to move, we are going to find a way to get even more settled into not like into one specific place, but into who we want to be and like what we want to be and like what we're trying to develop ourselves into. Like we're going to be solidifying that image while we continue to break new ground and do new things like subathons, like different like IRL streams, like all the new and different things that we're trying.
Yeah.
Like
I honestly think OSR is going to be huge. Like I definitely think it has the potential to be the like homebrew review was probably the biggest like main thing that we changed, like the biggest like add-on to the stream as a whole,
right?
Well, because all the other stuff is great, but like homebrew review is like this like the sticking factor so far, right? More so than history of, more so than you know, pop culture builds or subletting subclasses, right? Like that was the main thing. I think OSR is going to be the next one.
Okay.
Like realistically speaking, if we pull it off correctly and we get this into the front of the right people, I think OSR could really be like the next big thing that I could see it easily being the next big thing that we would be expected to do weekly. Like
right.
Like we're never going to not do homebrew review because that's
yeah.
kind of like what D&D discussions evolved into. I can see OSR being like the thing we have to do every Wednesday, or we have to do every Friday.
That kind of goes back to last time we were on. You were talking about how some of your inspiration for what your goal, like you're working towards, is Dropout, and how they have different like episodes or like shows, so to speak, you know, one of which is Actually, and then the Game Changer. And so you can have homebrew review, you can have OSR, you can have whatever we did today, the
PCB, and that's exactly,
or just builds in general.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. I would definitely love to take them as a example of what I want to do. I don't want to do what they did,
for sure,
but I do want to take them as an example of how to run a business and how to structure the content evolution.
For sure.
So absolutely. Well, okay, it's 3.5 hours in. I know Hoylipa just got here. Sorry, but we are gonna have to cut it because I need to go and move all this stuff to the back room, kind of figure out some setup options, get at least a initial setup so then I can get some sleep, so I can finish it in the morning, go shopping, and then go live all before 10 a.m. because I have to be online at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow for our subathon that I am absolutely gonna have plenty of sleep for.
So much of it, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I know it's not gonna take me that long to do everything. I just of course I'm worried that I'm gonna be like stressed out, but I don't know Once I move everything back there, I'll probably be fine. I just need to get all the equipment back there in the morning during my coffee. I'll be able to set up all the cameras. It's not that setting up the cameras is not that big of a deal. It's getting this beast back there and deciding how it's going to get set up and where I'm going to sit and where the camera, where the monitor is going to be.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you
Cool
all
beans.
so much. Hey, what's going on, Super Foxer? Don't worry about stress. I'm not stressed. I'm excited. It's just that because of the choices that I have made, I have to deal with them. I chose, you just woke up right now. I mean, I'm the one that chose to do this on the desktop and not the laptop because I don't need to. And I honestly don't know if there's that big of a quality difference. I just know that the laptop is,
There will be a lot less of a chance of technical difficulties happening over a stream that's going to be going on for that long. So I totally get that.
And that's the thing is I don't want any other issues, but yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's literally just moving a desktop into the other room. I'm just making more of it because then I also know that I have to tear it all down and put it back before Monday stream. Which you will not be here for.
I will not be here for. So you talked about taking Monday off.
Oh, that's right.
Because that is
officially my birthday.
Your actual birthday.
And I might be actually.
If you don't want to take it off, that's totally fine. I will be able to get the and I know Super Foxer is waiting for their review.
That's right. It is their first one.
It's their second one actually. Their first one was the what was your first review, Super Foxer?
I do remember we did one.
This is a pair. So this is two what do you call it? This is two like creatures, so to speak. They're gonna have like monster stat blocks, but they have certain abilities that are legitimately linked to each other. Similar to how Hecate was kind of describing their ice wizard sorcerer
Gotcha.
/ whatever that thing that they ride was.
Okay. So yeah, I'll talk to Vixie about that. We'll make a confirmation of that tomorrow. We might be canceling Monday's stream just because Kage will be out of town and it'll be my birthday on Monday, so I may just be recovering from whatever it is that I'm going to do after the subathon.
Sure.
Yes, Horlepa, it'll be my birthday on Monday, which is kind of why I chose this weekend for the subathon, even though next month is our 1 year affiliate.
Sure. But I feel like this is a good like halfway through the year celebration point for celebrating all those things, especially
it's a great this is honestly the best time. Like, this is going to be the best time,
and it's your birthday anyways.
Yours at the 24th. Oh well, congratulations. Well, happy early birthday. Will we be live on the 24th to even wish you a happy birthday? We won't. It'll be the day before.
Well, belated birthday.
Yeah, well, early birthday, and if I can remember, we can wish it to you on the 21st as well. All right, well, I'm gonna head out and then go mess with all this stuff, but I hope you beautiful people have a great rest of your night. I hope to see all of you there along with the rest of the community tomorrow. Remember, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but that timer will increase the more you interact. So be there for all of it. The spicy challenges, the sour stuff that you guys can make me do, the specialty rewards, prizes, giveaways, community rewards, personal rewards. We have a new message wall that will be hung up behind me after the subathon, so you'll be able to get your name on that if you want. We have 5 minis that we're going to be giving away, and just a whole bunch of things that you can make me do along the way. So if that sounds fun, join us tomorrow. I'm super excited. I will make sure that I am well rested. Really, I just have to get my computer stuff in the nether room, but I'll deal with that. Y'all don't worry. I will be live first thing in the morning at 10 a.m. So be there if you can. Otherwise, have a great and fantastic rest of your weekend. We'll leave you guys with that. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.